Hold on a second. Okay, according to what they're saying, we're live.
Okay, yeah, this is it's about to live on my phone. Yeah. So as I was saying was, as far as like land infrastructure nationhood, right? It's
Hmm.
like this. I'll start with softer words, right? Land infrastructure communities. You know what I'm saying? In other words, basically, like you said last night on the show, you said, okay, if this ain't the white man's land, who is it? Well, it ain't the white man. Look, the bottom line is this. Bottom line, the infrastructure, everything you see in America is already been bonded and mortgaged off. You know what I'm saying? The
Hmm.
road, if you think that you live in a neighborhood and it's yours, okay, you think that, oh, that's my hood. That's it. Oh, really? The those telephone poles that cost like $2,000 to put up a piece, if that, that's yours. The
Hmm.
transistor line right there, beaming electricity in every house, that's yours. You control that, right? I guess you didn't tell Con Edison that, the sewer system that takes your shit out of the buildings. I guess you run that too, you know.
Like I
You
said,
were you
man.
were just a placeholder. You're just a placeholder. The only reason why you're here is because you can make the rent and you keep the system sort of going. As soon as you aren't able to pay that rent, like what's going on in San Francisco, people are getting priced out. Even people with college degrees can't afford to live there anymore. But do you think anybody gives a fuck? No. That's just the way it is. California is becoming so expensive, even people with two incomes can't afford it anymore. That's just the way the world works. Now, what I'm saying is this though: if you have a blank canvas, and when you look at beautiful cities like Kigali, Rwanda, and they'll say, well, the first thing they'll say, well, Africa's this. I said, well, what about Kigali? Well, and they shut up, right? Beautiful city. Can you show me any city in America that looks like better than Kigali and Rwanda in the heart of Africa?
Mm.
Well, this, that, thing. So I thought you said building anything Africa. So you're thinking we're talking about building nothing. Africa is like that. When you come over with the mindset, we're going to build and duplicate what we have here in America. You're paying bills. You know what I'm saying? You buy electricity. You do all this stuff like that. But what if you had a government that you ran, an administration that you ran, and a tax base that you control? You don't have that in America. You know what I'm saying?
You are speaking Mandarin Chinese right now to these people.
Yeah,
Everything that you just said is like, oh, well, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me introduce what this show is about. The title of this show is called Black Power American Negro Stalling Tactics 101.
right. And
And we're
get
going to
this.
discuss, hold on,
Yeah.
we're going to discuss classic Negro stalling tactics, especially ones that we've been hearing as of late from these We Can Do It Right Here, Captain America Negroes, militant integrationists, Black Power Americans, situation radicals, arbitrary activists, conveniently conscious Facebook and YouTube pretendians, Native American tweeters, indigenous Instagrammers, and Stockholm syndrome having ass Negroes. So we're going
Uh-huh.
to talk about all of that right now. Anybody wants to chime in the chat? I see we got Mufasa Shabazz in the
Yeah.
chat room.
Yeah.
Glad to
Get,
see you, fam.
get this.
And
Get
go
this.
ahead,
Get this.
Kyla, what you were saying.
Get this. Remember when Eric Garner was strangled, and you
Hmm.
had all these white teachers, right? That was supporting the police, talking about I can't breathe with the t-shirts and everything.
Right.
Now these are teachers in inner city schools. You know what I'm saying? Now
Hmm.
you don't even have enough clout, right? To know that okay, if if a certain amount of students in this school are African American, Hispanic, and everything, shouldn't the level number of teachers even mirror that? It's not even close. If you have a black community and everything, right, in Brooklyn, Queens, whatever like that,
Hmm.
and 99% of the population is black or Hispanic, shouldn't the police force mimic that? You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
don't even have control, even in cities where you call got clout. White people still control the police unions. They control the fire department. They control all the things of power, the courts, everything. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Now, I'm saying like this. So tell me again how you even come close to having parity inside of America. Why? Because let me tell you to like this. Like we were talking about the entertainment industry. As soon as rap or black music starts making money, right? If it didn't make any money, there'll be no white people involved in it. As soon as it
Hmm.
starts making money, white people figure they got to come in, whatever it is, and they got to control it. You know what I'm saying? Some of these
Hmm.
Negroes are just angry because we're not saying that we're not putting the ball in the white man's hand. We start talking about nationhood. We're talking about having black people from America linking up with host African countries and everything, cutting the white man out altogether. So therefore, we can get something done. Now that will work. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's not no, well, we got to confer with the government. Oh, the white man is everywhere. There was one stupid chick on the thing talking about where you going to go that you're not going to be oppressed. I said, well, well, I got people that's living in Africa right now. They say they wouldn't come back to the United States for anything. And they're doing big things. Should they all pack up their tents and come back to America because everyone's oppressed around? No, we're oppressed in America because we're constantly being humiliated every day. You know what I'm saying? We hear new stories that are bizarre. Brothers out there in Oakland minding their business, having a charcoal cookout. White chick don't like it, calls the police. You know,
Mhm.
anytime you call the police on black folks, you're risking somebody getting shot and killed. You know,
Mhm.
so therefore that won't happen in Kigali. That won't happen in Angola. That won't happen in South Africa. That won't happen in Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? So how can you
Mhm.
even compare? You know what I'm saying? So so in other words, you're at a point now where you're trying to now defend American racism. Well, you can't get out of it, this, that, and the other thing, because blah blah blah. She says, hey, read the comment. She says, oh, if it's a bully, your parents move away, the bully moves too. Where you gonna keep going? That's not the same analogy. You know, say I compared it to abusive relationship. You know what I'm saying? You get an abusive relationship, you try to get out of that relationship, you know? If you're not getting promoted on your job, what do? You find another job. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
America,
also that doesn't make any sense because so then she's basically saying that you should never get a divorce?
no, she was talking about when that did that, she was vague with her response to that. She was talking about a bully. She said, if you're a kid and you're getting bullied by a kid and everything, and the parent you ask your parents to move to another neighborhood, you move and the bully moves too and everything like that. There's another bully there. What you gonna do? Keep moving? So in other words, basically, what you're saying is
That's the
the
dumbest thing
white
I've ever heard in my life.
the white man is Thanos. He's everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
The
You
reason
know,
why
he's
that
there.
analogy makes no sense is because, yo, what's up, Lionel? Peace. Um, the reason why that analogy makes no sense is that if that's her philosophy, then what she's basically saying is that a woman can never divorce a man.
Yeah,
If the woman is being abused by her husband, you're saying if she decides to leave him, what's to stop him from going somewhere wherever she's at and trying to stay with her and keep trying to be involved in her life?
yeah,
What is
yeah,
it? That
yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
And then that's coming from a woman. Now, I always thought these women for equal rights. If I don't be in a relationship, I can just bounce and leave this that, and the other thing. Well, what if? So in other words, women can leave abusive relationship, but the collective mind of black people, it's not even physically all black people. The collective mind. In other words, basically, we're saying it's time for a divorce from America. You know, we
But
gave
you
America
know what else
500
too?
years. It's time for a divorce
You know what else
mentally.
too? Um, if let's say that I play devil's advocate and I say, all right, you're 100% correct. You can't just run here or run there. You got to face this bully and whatever. When you gonna start fighting?
You know, no, they
You've been
don't.
you've been kicking this you've been kicking this bullshit for the. You're like, oh well, you can't. You're running from the white man. Well, obviously y'all not running from the white man. And what's that getting you?
Yeah, no,
You're not
nothing.
fighting the white man either. So what are you
Well,
doing? You're avoiding the white man.
yeah, it's
That's what
avoidance.
you're
You know
doing.
what I'm saying? What you
So in
want
other
to,
words, you would rather avoid the white man than get away from the white man.
yeah. So in other words, basically, what they want you to do is shut up. They just want
Yeah,
us to shut up. They just want
yeah.
us
Just be
to
quiet.
be quiet, and whatever like
Because
that.
by you
Yeah,
saying all of this stuff about getting power and stuff is going to force me to act, and I
yeah,
don't want to act. What I want to do is continue doing what I've been doing for the past 60, 70 years, which is absolutely nothing. And could you imagine that these talking heads have convinced the average person, because that's who she represents. She's not a person in power. She has no real voice, but she's
hmm
getting her talking points from these idiots.
yeah,
And they have convinced her that I can't win is a winning strategy.
yeah. In other words, basically, every time like a John Lewis, get up there and pray, and this that the other day, and let's have prayer. I feel so sick of that. Why do you think people don't go to church no more? You know what I'm saying? People get left the black church because the black church has basically been a cowardice, and it's even the Nation of Islam too. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line, at some point, you gotta say, what is our end game? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, police brutality ain't going nowhere. Racism is not going nowhere. Neglect is not going nowhere. And you see the end result of that is this. The chaos you see in Black America, the self-hate, the violence and everything is because Marcus Garvey predicted this decades ago. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping he was going to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? He said, look, if Black people sit in America, right, he knew that white America are never going to stop being racist because there's a difference between, and I've noticed this too, there's a difference between how white people look at Chinese, Native Americans, Mexicans, and European immigrants and everything. They may have prejudice and everything, but from America's standpoint, from the time we got here and everything, our phenotype, the African, you know what I'm saying? That's why Africans are delusional. They think they can come over here and fit in. Our phenotype, right, has been so thoroughly degraded where white people don't even think we feel pain. They think it's normal for us the way we suffer the way we do. You know what I'm saying? They think it's normal. They think that that black don't feel pain. We don't feel anger. You know what I'm saying? They just like go along with, oh yeah, another black person lynched. Like it was a black body. You heard about that down in I think it was Florida or Atlanta. Atlanta. The dude was hanging off a bridge 2 weeks ago. You didn't hear about that.
I'm losing track of the amount of dead bodies.
Dude was hanging, and the police are trying to investigate it as a suicide. How's a young college black kid gonna hang himself? Somebody lynched him. And there's been so many lynchings, you know, black people found hung over the last 15 years. You know what I'm saying? There was in Oklahoma, these white supremacists cut up these black bodies a couple of weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Killed them. We don't even like, and the media's like, okay, a black person lynched, so what? Black female cop kills that guy in thing on camera. You know what I'm saying? Gunned him down, had his hands up, gunned him down, and she's put back on the police force. You know what I'm saying? George Zimmerman walking around free. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, America is basically telling black people, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing we can do is this. They count on, so when America is under attack, America, this is very, very important. America is under attack around the world, right? America's, when people start saying America's a racist country, you have no business of preaching us and everything, the first people that come to America's defense are Negroes. You know what I'm saying? We Americans and all stuff like that. Now it's to the point, right? Like I said, I talked to my Angolan partners, right? And they tell me about the racism that even when they're officials and stuff like that, when they come over here, they got to endure. You know what I'm saying? Even when they know that they're government officials, they don't even care about the ramifications of mistreating Angolan high officials, whatever like that. And that weighs in on them. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, and then they look at us like, who is your allegiance to? You know what I'm saying? They look at us like we're a bunch of fools. You know what I'm saying? They treat y'all like shit. They kill you. They discriminate you and everything like that. And what happens is this. The world has no respect for African Americans. Africans are losing respect for us. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of the world loses respect for us. Why? Because we decided to lay down and take it because the white man gives us a little bit of comfort here. And that's the whole thing. The most dangerous Negro is not even Uncle Tom. It's the comfortable Negro. You know what I'm saying? It's the dude that's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? He's comfortable, and he's comfortable, and how he's comfortable, he wants the black people that's suffering to just shut up. You just be quiet, put up some bullshit. Oh, things are getting better and all this kind of stuff like that. Knowing full well, Baltimore. Listen to that last show I did. I think it was called the Donald Trump Shuffle. I did two. There was two. My name is my name. Put it up. Right. It was two parts. The first part was good, just me. The second part was Thomas and Black Achievement on there. And I didn't even get a chance to look at it. That was 2 years ago, right? That was right before the election. Black Achievement broke it down. And I wasn't, it was a Black Achievement. But he actually broke it down about Prince George's County. I didn't even know this, right? He said, well, most of the people in Prince George's County, the black people, so-called elite, Boule and all stuff like that, these are people that work for the government. I said, you kidding me? I said, I thought the Prince George's County were black bankers. He's like, no, these are people that are retired military. They work in Howard. They got good jobs and income. They were able to buy houses and everything because at the time the land was cheap and everything. But so these are the so-called people that's supposed to be leading us. He said, man, they ain't got no power. You know what I'm saying? He was telling me how the black Democratic machine in Baltimore, black people have no power, no influence. They put that guy O'Malley in there as governor and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Black people, he said, the black Baltimore is on its own. The black inner city Baltimore is completely on its own. You know You know what I'm saying? So therefore, all those black people and Priscilla talking about black crime, blah 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 blah. They ain't got no power, but
See,
they yeah
this is the thing, and this is why um, I've been saying this for the longest. Like, because everything you just said right now, we say like that clip that you had posted from 2010.
yeah
Weren't we saying that?
yeah
It's
exactly.
like there is no black power elite in America.
Yeah, that's
What
just
are you
obvious. You
talking
know what I'm
about?
saying? We know why before you made that video, no one actually came out and said that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was just assumed that we got these black people over there. They're looking out for our best interests and everything. You see them on TV and they're talking because they talk proper and everything. We thought there was something going on a high level that our problems gonna be solved and everything. Now with the internet, was able to talk and people able to see for themselves that these people ain't got no real power.
No, like if you get like in the industry, Quincy Jones with his supposed power, you know what he uses power for? Freak shows,
Yeah,
private freak shows.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah, there,
Wow.
there's, there's no
Wow.
black people that got power that's gonna help you out and all stuff like that. Not in the entertainment industry, not in political, not in anything. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And so, yeah, good.
there's a brother in the chat room, Mr. Pirate Brain. He says, I want to figure out what country to visit in Africa and how to raise money to move there. I just want to address that. And I want you to chime in after me,
Hmm.
Kala. See, the thing, brother, is it ain't just about you personally moving to the continent because I think all of us have the ability to do that right now.
Yeah, right, right.
The thing is, we're not looking to just up and go from one situation of control and dominance to another situation of control and dominance.
Exactly.
We want to move as an enclave or collective to a piece of land and start developing that land. See, I can go to Africa right now. If I wanted to go to South Africa, I have enough friends and people in there that I have like a little infrastructure where I can go there and I can, live
Hmm.
because I have enough people that can help me, with the lay of the land and whatever.
Yeah,
Um, what else? There's other places in Africa where I know people, but mainly South Africa. I know a lot of South Africans,
you're right. Yeah,
so I
I
can
could
go there
probably
right now.
go to Ghana,
Yeah,
Nigeria, and Rosenthal. Once he gets situated in Angola, I can live in Angola because he has a guest house. He said, "Well, you walk in my guest house, had a nice house." You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You saw that video, right? He
right.
said
Now what?
you can have
Now,
the guest house. Anyone could get up
now
and
this
move
is
and
the
leave.
thing. This is my point. Now, if I go there to Africa with whatever money I have from America, um, how am I going to make my money?
Right.
Am I going
That's
to
the
go to
key.
work for somebody in South Africa?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the thing. Now imagine. Now let's look at the reverse of that. Let's say you go as an enclave and you're building up an enclave in Africa. And this is something that me and you have talked about, Kala, is how the 401ks work when you have
Yes. Yes.
jobs. How does that tie into your particular stock market?
Hmm.
Now, let's say we start our enclave and we have construction companies and stuff like that that we have our workers can actually be a part of.
Hmm. And that's the thing.
See, this
That's
is
the
what I'm
whole.
talking about. That's a
Yeah.
whole, you're talking about a whole different ball game than just packing up as an individual and going over to Africa.
But why did people keep saying that? You know what I'm saying? In other words, they keep saying, okay, you can just leave now. Go ahead, go. Why? But no. So the bottom line is, we know we'll be more successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me give you an example. Our sister Kaylin Sutton in
Hmm.
Namibia, right? Now she's doing good. She's beautiful sister. I call her our queen, and I say, you representing us in Africa. She's so beautiful. She has a Namibian husband, little baby, and everything like that. And they got land and everything like that. But she tells me sometimes, even though they live in the nice life in Namibia, she
Hmm.
said she wished she had more African Americans over there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just for business purposes and camaraderie. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You need your own people there and stuff like that. She said she sometimes during the holiday season, it's got hard over there during the holiday season. You know what I'm saying? Because you're like,
Hmm.
okay, miss New York, Times Square, the holiday season, stuff like that. Some of the things we do here in America. So in other words, basically, when we come to Africa, we have like Bounce TV. It has to be Africa our way. You know what I'm saying? We
Hmm.
have 500 years of a culture here in America. Of course, we're going to take a lot of that culture with us, and we're going to absorb and fuse some of the local African culture with us. Now, that local African culture has to be compatible with what we do. You know what I'm saying? We have it has to be on our terms. It has to be equal terms. The things we do, we have our culture and everything. We lay that down. This is our enclave. These are our rules. These are our laws. These are the customs we have and everything. And then we fuse some of the local languages, local customs, local foods, local forays and everything. It happens organically. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Carla, let me ask you a question. What is
Yeah.
your opinion of think tanks?
Uh,
And keep in mind now, before you answer, I want to clarify. I don't mean the existing think tanks. I'm talking
right.
about the concept of a think tank in general. Let's say that we had our own think tank. How do you feel about that concept?
If we had a think about a think tank as this, right? For most of us, it's an institution. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
People are getting paid. You know what I'm saying? People get paid. They have a building. They have resources. You know what I'm saying? And they
Hmm.
constantly building on a particular ideology and make it materialize. That's what a think tank should do.
Right,
When you have a think tank in Black America, it's vague and abstract.
right,
We need equality. We need jobs. We need justice. No, a real think tank, right, will basically come up with a definite plan of action. This is
right,
what we can do. This is what we going to do, and it comes from because most Black think tanks basically are underfunded. They're not funded at all. If they're underfunded, if they're not funded at all, you know what I'm saying? And they
hmm,
usually come from white institutions. You know what I'm saying? That do their bidding. Okay. It's always about how do we get more Black people to vote to the Democrats. You know what I'm saying? How do
hmm,
we get this passed, this legislation passed, or how do we do something and everything? And mostly it's by Black women. You never see Black men in these think tanks. You know what I'm saying? And it's
hmm,
always joining together with white people and the same old, same old, same old. That gets us nowhere. Now, if you have a Pan Africanist think tank, right? A Pan Africanist think tank that basically has institutions, right? Have a board of directors and say, "Yo, look, this is what we do. Okay, we contract with the university of this, right? High level. This is where Black colleges have to step up to the plate. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
Professor, Doctor, such and such, laid it down. This is what needs to be done. You have to have a real plan. Like Duke University, right? The government outsources a lot of its think tank and stuff like that to Duke University and these top Ivy League schools. You know what I'm saying? And then they do the studies and they do all the stuff like that, and they do their recommendations, do analysis, and all the stuff like that. So therefore, when the government reads before the United States Congress or Senate, they say, according to our studies right here, after 2 year research, you know what I'm saying, paid for by such and such, which is by in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know what I'm saying? This
hmm.
is what we came up. Now, let me give you an example. The Rosenthal Group was started by a think tank, and the idea of developing Africa using mineral resource bank. And the Rosenthal Group, you seen those slides I sent you before, right? Of the Rosenthal Group.
Yeah.
Those
Hmm.
those were basically that's basically like he said that he goes all that information, right? It's still on the books, even though it was never acted on by the United States government, and it's hard to do with Africans. And finally, you have an African government that's taking it seriously. That's Angola. You know what I'm saying? That information from the Roosevelt Group costs like $1 million. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So when you talk about a think tank, I mean, you really have to have your stuff together because when people put down charts, graphs, and all stuff like that, this is what we could do. This is what we could do. This is what this law needs to be passed here. This government policy needs to be changed right here. This is what has to go right here. This, that, and the other thing. And so therefore, a government looks at it and says, okay, first step is this. We're going to do this, like this, that, and the other thing. We're going to change this right here. We're going to allocate funding for this. We're going to allocate funding for this. It's a full plan of action. I don't think we Black America that I know of, right, has ever had a think tank, right? You know why? Because if we did have think tanks and whatnot, Detroit and all these Black communities wouldn't look the way they are.
Yeah, that's because, and this is the segue. The reason why I asked you that question is it segues to my main problem with what's going on right now. Um, it's like we offer individual solutions to systemic problems.
Right. Yeah.
And we have a lack of focus, and I'm talking about amongst our intelligentsia. I'm not even talking about the average Joe, because the average Joe is not going to be thinking at things from a system and structural level. Just
Right.
as a rule, they're not. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to probably think of things on an interpersonal level. But when you talk about people that would be a part of the think tank, then you're talking about your Black intelligentsia, the people
Yes.
who are supposed to have the knowledge and stuff. They're not even thinking on a systemic level.
They're not. You know what I'm saying? All
They
it
keep
is
they
like,
keep constantly approaching our people with individual self-help guru solutions.
yeah, yeah, Dr. Boyce Watkins and all that stupid stuff. Now if people say let's talk about powernomics, right? The problem with powernomics is this, right? Everything you do inside the confines of America, right, has to be approved of, and it has to reconcile, right? It's called reconciliation. It has to reconcile with the dominant society. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
also, in Black America, we do not have a culture of businesses. People think that just starting black businesses is going to solve the problem. It's not true. You know what I'm saying? We have social problems and cultural problems in our community that has to be solved, right? We have to have a cultural cohesion in Black America. Black America, you can't assume because people live in an area and they're all black there, they think of themselves as a collective. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You know what I'm saying? If you don't think of yourself as a collective, as soon as as soon as that one person, as soon as he gets a good job, whatever like that, he's like, I'm out of here.
And
You know
you
what
know
I'm saying?
what? Now that you mention it, wouldn't you think you would think that the people who have the biggest problem with black culture, like in terms of our behavior and how we act, would be the main ones pushing for nationhood?
Right, right. And like I
Because
said,
because what we're talking about is in order for you to fix that, you got to have it within a context that you can control. You ain't
right.
gonna fix it here in
Check
America.
this out. Listen to that last thing with Black Achievement. I said Black Achievement. Everything you just told me, you are a nationalist. I'm not a nationalist scholar.
Right.
I'm like, you just said the black people should spend money only with black businesses. We should only do this with each other. We should have a black bank. We should have this, and we should shame people who spend their money, their black dollars outside. I said Black Achievement. What you're talking about is nationhood, but you don't want a nation. You know, if you have a nation, 90% of all the Japanese dollar circulates in the Japanese economy. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to think about it. You know what I'm saying? If you have a nation where you're the majority, the industries, the businesses, the
Carno
banks,
thinks she's
everything.
an idiot. Oh wait, did you hear me? Could you hear what I said?
Yeah, what about Yvette Carmel?
No, I said, Mr. Black Culture in the chat room says, so you agree a little bit with Yvette Carno, and I asked him to clarify what he means by that because, in my
No,
opinion,
we
Yvette
don't agree with
Carno,
Yvette Carnell.
Yvette
She
Carnell is
she
an
thinks that
idiot.
yeah, checks out. She
Me and her,
believes.
have actually gotten into it on Facebook. She blocked me.
Yeah, yeah, I know. She discontinued me too. You know, check us out. The whole thing with Yvette Carnell is what she wants is us to be begging the white people for handouts and government programs. They don't work. You know what I'm saying? I'm
My
saying they don't
plans, our plans, and the BAIO plans have nothing to do with white folks.
have nothing to. And what gets me is this: we at the BIL have figured out, right, through our STEM, our study of business. We have some of the best financial experts in our network. You know what I'm saying? We have scientists. We have all these people that say, yes, we could actually do this. Now, people say, well, what would this state do? First of all, if you have a state, a city state, right, that
Oh
has a
wait, hold on one second. She says meaning powernomics doesn't work. Well, if she's saying that powernomics doesn't work, then we agree on that,
yeah,
I guess.
power dynamics don't work because you don't have the power and you don't have no nomics. You know what I'm saying? In other words, basically, in order for you to have power nomics, you have to have a place to do it. You have to have a space to do
A
it. You have
context to do
a context to do it. You don't
it.
have
Mm.
no context in Black America where people are undereducated, underfunded, the areas are violent, they're poor. As soon as Black people do get a little bit of money, they're out. You know what
Let
I'm
me. I don't
saying?
want to. I don't interrupt your train of thought, but I just wanted to make a point in regards to that to throw out into the atmosphere. Some people say that like their biggest issue, like people come up with the most trivial things to be against nationhood. Like we've heard things like, well, we can't call it Afrikstan because Stan is this and the root word and all this bullshit. Then there was another one. They said, well, what language are you going to speak in your new nation?
English.
And my question is this. Yeah, it's going to be English. My question is, what language are you going to develop in America that you're going to transport over to your new nation? How about that?
Yeah,
Which sounds more ridiculous to you?
yeah, we're gonna develop a language and culture. They don't understand something. Culture comes from actually building a nation, being on your own. You know what I'm saying? And the land produces your culture. You know what I'm saying? When
Mhm.
people together and they're building and they're celebrating and they're on their own land, they're building and they're cultivating together. A culture is formed. Just like the new Afrikstan nation will have a different culture distinct from Black America, African Americans. You know what I'm saying? In
Right.
5 years, you'll see a clear difference between the young people of the Afrikstan and the African Americans of the inner city. You'll see a real difference.
And to
Why?
me,
Because
go ahead. Go ahead.
because why? Because it comes from a state of captivity to a state where you're in power. You're the majority. I'm saying
Hmm.
you're powered, so you go think yourself differently. You're not going to see yourself as Americans. People have this idea. What it is black people are so enslaved by America, right? That they think, oh my God, America is going to white people are going to come over there with ships and drag us back to America and beat us. People trying to leave. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand. They don't understand. The only thing holding us here is a chains on our minds. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean all black people have to leave, but psychologically, every group of people in America, except for the white Americans, right, have their foot in this world and their foot in the old world. I grew up with Italians, Poles, Jews, everything. They always talked about, oh, I'm going to Italy for the summer, or I'm going to Spain for the summer. You know what I'm saying? I
And
had Irish, oh, I'm going to Dublin for the summer. You
I
know?
just want to put people's minds at ease. I know that probably the people that's watching now and the people that's in the chat room don't have this problem, so I'm not talking about y'all. But for anybody who's going to hear this, I just want to put your mind at ease. If you are paranoid and scared and you don't want to go overseas, you don't want to get a passport, you don't want to have anything to do with leaving America, rest, relax yourself,
We're not
put
going to force
yourself
you.
at ease because we don't want you to go.
And not only that, brother
The
Holip,
only
right?
people, hold on, the only people that are going to go to Africa are people who want to go to Africa.
And not only that, not everybody that want to go is going to be able to go. You know what I'm saying? Because this is going to
Right.
be a screening process like you have never seen.
Yeah, it's
We're
going to
going
be a
to be
vetting process.
a vetting process. We only want the best and the brightest, man. And everybody has to be on the P's and Q's. There's going to be rules, there's going to be laws and everything like that. And you have to be doing something. You come over there, you might have two professions. You know, we might put it like two professions. Okay, you're this. Okay, you do that too. And you might have to do something else. Everybody like Israel, everybody in Israel has to give 2 years of service to the military. You know what I'm saying?
And think
Stuff like
about
that.
this. Think about this. Think about the type of mentality that it takes because it's a process to get overseas. It's not easy.
Right.
It's not very difficult, but it's not easy too. So you got to get somebody who gets a passport, who first of all has the mindset to even want to leave America and go overseas. Is that type of person going to be the type of person who gets a plane ticket, which costs thousands of dollars, gets the passport, go through all the things that you need to go over to the continent, and they're going to go to the continent and hang out on a corner?
Right.
Does
Right.
that
Right.
sound like the type of person that's going to be over there?
Right. Right. Well, the bottom line is this:
So we
it's
keep
good
creating these scary monsters, these boogeymen that don't even fucking exist.
because the bottom line is this: we have more black people in America that are positive than negative. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The
Much more.
problem checks out. The problem is this. This is the problem right here. This is the problem. A white America, when they did open America up to us and gave us jobs and everything like that, they took our best and brightest. You know what I'm saying?
They
Because
still
back in
do it.
they still do it, right? So the bottom line is this: the Afrikstan, the state, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be competing for the hearts and minds of the best and brightest in Black America. You know what I'm saying? And when you have people like I put this article up with this sister who was going into her house, she had a wake up call, Negro wake up call, and some police called somebody called her cops on her, right? And the cops came to her house, 17 strong, guns drawn and whatnot. And she was a vice president of an international marketing firm, whatever like that. She said graduated from top college and everything. And she said she believed this idea that you don't have to go through that if you basically don't, do all the ghetto things and everything. And just she got her wake up call, right? Now, what I'm saying is this though, the black people that basically saying, wait a minute here, if I go over there, I could be the top CEO of this company. I could even convince my company that I'm on the board with to open up a factory over here, to open up an industry over here, this, that, and the other thing. I could be the head of that, this, that, and the other thing. I have a country that's building and developing, and that not only that, I'm in a land where I don't have to worry about police. I don't have to worry about racism. In other words, basically, this is another thing. Racism is not eternal. You know what I'm saying? It's only eternal when you basically decided that America is the only thing you want to know. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? When you go over to the African continent, we have zero tolerance for racism. We're gonna have zero tolerance for even people who build. Let me say this. This is very gonna be controversial. There are black people who have made it their career talking and fighting about racism, which they know they're not going to think. But that's how they make their money. This is the other thing. We're going to get rid of those type of people too. We want people that are going to be
Wait,
nation
say that
builders.
again. I missed that.
There's people here, particularly on YouTube, whatever like that, who make their living, you know what I'm saying, talking and complaining about racism. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
yeah, okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Talking and complaining about racism, right? We don't want those people either. Why? Because psychologically, their mind is going to be still in America. It ain't going to be in Africa. You know what I'm saying? When we're
Right.
talking about Africa, we're about building with Africa. You know what I'm saying? We got Africa coming up. You got Rwanda, fastest growing economy in the world. They're going to be the IT hub of the freaking continent. You know what I'm saying? You got all these countries coming up, so many opportunities and everything. That's what we want to focus on, building out and protecting Africa, bringing peace and stability to the Congo. Let me give you an example. I was
Oh,
on.
before you start, we got 2 dislikes, so we're doing some good, excellent work right now.
Oh, of course we do. Of course we do. Of course we do. You know what I'm saying? Well, keep those dislikes coming up. We're doing
Yeah,
something
I
right.
want more than 2. Come on, y'all can do better than that.
And so we know we're saying something right. I was on the phone with some Angolan partners, right? This guy just had one of the major banks in Angola, right? And he was just telling me, right, and I didn't even know this, right? He said, "Yeah, we just completed the rail line." I said, I was going to go over there and suggest to them that why don't they build that railway from Benguela to Zambia and the Congo? And he was like, "Bro, already done." I said, look, the problem in Southern Africa is this. Those rail lines that connect Cape Town and Durban are the reason why the whites still have a hold on the Southern Africa region. He said, yeah, we want to be an alternative to that. So in other words, I would suggest to Zambia, I was telling Roosevelt that Roosevelt, nah, they ain't gonna do that. Take those freaking rail lines that link South Africa and tear those things up. And tell Cecil Rhodes, that was Cecil Rhodes wanted to build a rail line from Cape Town to Cairo and everything. The sub-African region is suffering right now because South Africa still has a hold on the sub-region through its infrastructure. Black people, you could be in the majority, but if white people still control the railways, what goes in and out of the continent, they still control things. This new rail line that's going to the Benguela is a beautiful province in Angola, right? This rail line, right, is going to it's already complete. It's built by the Chinese and with Angolan workers. Connects to the interior. It's going to go to the Congo through Zambia and everything, and it's going to basically be able to. We're going to be bringing heavy machinery in to process African goods and minerals and stuff like that. That's what we want to do. And then also, that means right there that whole coastline in Angola is going to have dozens of new cities being built. One of which is they plan on building a city for the African diaspora to come home. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're planning now. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're planning now. It's the first time I revealed this on the air. That's what they're planning now. You know what I'm saying? So they're saying, yeah, the black people in America now, only thing we have is a BAIO and everything. You would think there will be hundreds of other black organizations already on this, spreading the word out and saying this and the other thing. No, we're the only ones. We get pushback. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, basically, Angola is saying, we want your professionals. We want your skilled workers. We want your investors. People who basically can do just if you work in corporate America, even if you work in just a mid-level manager, do you know how much that you're in need? You know what I'm saying? If you're a nurse, you got your degree, stuff like that, they need everything. And you could benefit, you know what I'm saying? Because you will be in a country where you feel like a king. You got everything there for you. You know what I'm saying? That's what they built. Have you seen the picture of Lil Wanda? Lil Wanda is a beautiful city. It blows Las Vegas out the door. The nightlife looks like Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're trying to build in Africa. This is what we want to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna tell me, no, we can't go there. We can't do this. It's just change on your mind. You know what I'm saying? And then now that we're not just building for ourselves, we're building for future generations. Future generations of young black kids will have an alternative. Now, if you don't want black people to have an alternative, then you are part of the problem. Nobody ever said that America is the end of the be all end all.
And also, I put the link to the BAIO name group on the chat room. So anybody that's not a member, I think you really need to click on that link and become one. We're not asking for any money, contrary to what these idiots have been saying.
We don't want your money. You know what I'm saying?
We don't
want
want your money. We want your time and your support.
Your support. That's what we want. You know what I'm saying? We want you to listen too.
But
You know
let
what I'm
me
saying?
just address this thing about because I see Mr. Pirate Brain. And thank you for being here, brother. And everybody that's in the chat room, Lionel, Mr. Black Culture, all of y'all. Um, there's nothing wrong with having an agenda. And I've made this point before. And I use this this analogy of the NFL. Every team in the NFL's agenda is to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But only one team wins it.
Mm-hmm.
So the mere presence of an agenda is not something that you have to be, losing your mind and losing sleep over. Everybody that's not us has an agenda of their own. Do the Chinese have an agenda in Africa? Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does. The question
Mm-hmm.
is, what is our agenda?
Yeah, it segues into what I would always say. It's one thing to be interested in Africa, and it's another thing to have interest in Africa. You know what interest means? That means you have something tangible. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? We have something tangible and concrete. You know what I'm saying? This is our interest in Africa. You know, we're building these schools, we're building hospitals, we're building banks, we're building businesses and everything. We have trading companies.
And I
You know
just
what I'm
want to
saying?
bold and highlight what you just said because we are into the tangible and the concrete, not the vague and the abstract. And what you're going to get from the people that's against us is a lot of vagary, a lot of abstraction. They don't even know what infrastructure is, let alone to be fighting against it. They don't even know what it is.
You know, the black race is the only race that does not have a global infrastructure. This is why Haiti's poor. This is why Jamaica's poor, and all these countries are black majority are poor because there's no global infrastructure. We never got together like the Asians did and said we're going to free Asia from Western domination colonialism. You saying we're
Right,
going to build Asian industries up. Now you got Singapore as economies past most of Europe. You know
right. All
they did.
because a Nigerian can't look at an Ethiopian and say we're both Africans.
Yeah, and it gets me is this. This is why it was segue to the Black Panther movie. The Black Panther movie was so freaking important. It was
Yep.
done by African American Pan Africanists, right? And
Mm-hmm.
what we did was we included everybody in Africa. That's the
Yep.
new Africa. The new Africa, the Afrikstan, is about if you're African, whether you're African American, everything, and you want to be part of what we're doing, and everything, you are more than welcome to come join us. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
and let me speak on the Black Panther. This gets back to what I talk about when I say lack of focus and people not seeing what the problem and the issue is and being distracted into something else. Now, the Black Panther made over $1 billion worldwide.
1.3 billion.
Yeah. Instead, now what the average one-dimensional thinking conscious community jackass thinks is, well, why is we supporting Marvel and instead of going out now? If they were really smart, what they would look at and say, well, wait a minute. That's a $1.3 billion market that we could have controlled.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of being mad at Marvel, why don't you have your own movie industry?
And you saw that black talent sells. You don't have to be a
Right.
thug. You don't have to be a gangster. Stuff like this sells. The beauty of that movie and everything. Also, I was talking about that girl Shira. I mean, I went to say last night when I was talking to Dinus before you got on. I said, look, Shira. I don't know if you remember that when I put that Facebook book up when Taraji Harris's movie was coming out. I said, why do we keep having these old broads up here? When are we gonna have some new, fresh, black young girl
Oh, you
showing the
mean
beauty?
Shuri?
Oh yeah, Sherry.
Okay.
And then when I saw her, that answered my question, the conundrum. I see the innocence and the beauty of that girl. She was not sexualized. She was not any of that in the movie. You know what I'm saying? It
Hmm.
showed you that black women can be strong. You have the warriors, and they can be beautiful and soft. Everything like that. You know, everything we've been talking about for generations. We're tired of the way we've been portrayed. Black men can be strong. They can think about things outside of their hood and everything. They would talk about like Killmonger. He had what 2 MBAs, whatever like that, and he was talking about changing the world and everything.
Hmm.
That was so revolutionary because the whole idea of black people is we don't care about nothing but sports and getting high and everything. This guy Killmonger goes on a mission, you know. So every stereotype was broken by this movie. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And the world bought into it. Why? Because people don't want to see, don't really. Sometimes there's a part of people that are getting tired of seeing negative images about a major race of people on this planet, like Africans, black people. You know what I'm saying? So when you give them something to say this is what we are, people will buy into it. You know what I'm saying?
And the
You
conscious
know,
community hated the Black Panther. But rest
I don't
rest
understand what
assured,
what
they
what.
can breathe easy now because now Superfly is coming out.
Oh yeah, Superfly's coming out now. You're
So
gonna get
now
Superfly.
we can get back to the pimps and hoes and the stuff that we love so much.
You know what I'm saying? So therefore now Superfly. Now I was like this. Remember, you know the story of Shaw Brothers movies in Hong Kong,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You know, let's talk about this. Now, before Shaw Brothers came out and Shaw Brothers started in the 1940s, whatever, but they didn't really get big. It was a small production company, right? Then in the 1960s, they bought a whole bunch of land in Hong Kong and started building these studios, right? Their objective was to show the not just for first of all for an Asian audience, right? To pick
Mm-hmm.
up the spirit of the broken Chinese, right? Showing martial arts, love, everything like that, with the best cinematography. They hired the best cinematographers, the best directors, the best acting coaches around the world. You know what I'm saying? The best
Mm-hmm.
stunt people, all stuff like that. They said they want to make action movies that basically uplift the Chinese. You know what I'm saying? Uplift the Chinese. Bruce Lee had the same thing. He wanted to uplift the Chinese image around the world. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
therefore, before that, what you have? You had Charlie Chan. You had all these stupid caricatures of Chinese. You know what I'm saying? And Chinese said, okay, so therefore, they said you had Chinese men that were playing dignified role, playing emperors, playing warriors, playing generals, and stuff like that. Picked up the Chinese spirit, and that was important for the new China that was going to emerge. You know what I'm saying? As
Mm-hmm.
take on the West. The black race has not done that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where's our movie about Mansa Musa? You know what I'm saying? Where's our movie about this? Where's our art directors uplifting our race? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop being apologetic. Oh, if we do that, we might make white people angry. They make movies about Spartacus. They make movies about Rome, Hercules. They make movies about Anthony and Cleopatra. All these things right here. You know, Julius Caesar. How many Julius Caesar movies we made and everything? They make sure that you know their history inside and out through popular culture. You know, what we're saying is this though: the Black Panther was a start of something that I believe is going to be a trend if we keep capitalize on the momentum. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? The momentum of black people uplifting the black race and the black African infrastructure and the black African image. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, if you don't like Black Panther, I don't know what's the matter with you. You know what I'm saying? You ain't
Well,
really down with us
the
and everything.
reason
You're nothing
why
but a traitor.
the reason why Yvette Carnell or Carnell, whatever the hell her name is, she blocked me on Facebook is because I called her a misery merchant.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
she is.
yeah. She was like, "Oh, black folks go spend them." I'm like, "Hey, vet, we're not that goddamn poor that we can't afford a goddamn movie ticket and some thing." You know what I'm saying? I went to Black Panther, man. Went to Cinema Cafe with my brother and all family. We all went to see that, right? I had
Mm-hmm.
a stadium seat, right? I was at Cinema Cafe. I ordered me a burger and some wings and some beer. I had a freaking good time, you know.
Yeah,
It
we had a
cost me a
great
total.
time too. I went to
I cost
Atlanta.
me. I'm like this. I'm like, hey, look, $30 is not. I got money in the bank. $30 is not gonna break me. Oh, black folks spending all this money they could be put into. Shut the fuck up. That's another thing we're sick and tired of. These people have given black people nothing, but they want to dictate where black people spend their money at.
Exactly. I
We
know
don't.
when I went to Atlanta to see the Black Panther, it was a very just pleasurable experience because the black folks in the theater was all enjoying the movie and they were proud.
And proud.
And another thing, I want to address this whole thing about they said that now this is what something I spoke to Neo about this. And we were talking about Stan Lee and Jack Kirby who created that concept.
Mm-hmm.
We said, now think about this. They did this in the height. There was like because the comic books in back in the days was all male, all white.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they create? They not only did they create a black character based on an African nation, but they gave that African nation within their own universe the top billing.
Mm-hmm.
Out the
Mm-hmm.
gate, Black Panther out the gate beat the Fantastic Four, which was their main um family.
Because they fill the void. They fill the void. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They fill
He
the
didn't
void.
have to do that. He could have made
Right.
the top. He could have made the most technologically advanced nation in the world from New Zealand or something. He
Right.
did not have to pick Africa.
Check this out. Let me ask you a question, right? So, Dynas did a show the other day with the lady that did the Matrix and the Terminator. You know what I'm saying?
Was she on
And
that show?
she
He
was on
interviewed
that
her?
show. Yeah, he interviewed her,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
Now, something that struck me, right, is that she said, yeah, I was in college and they stole my script and they terminated it. I think she got settlement, whatever, you know? Anyway, could it be that somebody black could have came to Jack Kirby and Stan Lee with the idea, you know what I'm saying, of the Black Panther? You know what I'm saying? They said, okay, you know, and the person may have disappeared or
Yeah, it's
they
possible.
bought off and everything and said, you know, okay, I got this idea. And they said, okay, let's try this.
It's
Because
possible.
I'm thinking that could have been what happened. You know what
It
I'm
could
saying?
have
That
been.
could
I mean,
that
but
could
we
have been
just
what happened.
speculating.
Yeah, yeah.
We don't
But
know for a fact.
that's what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what makes the most sense. They probably went through like hundreds of suggestions, you know. Oh,
Hmm.
we got this guy here, we got this character right here. And they said, oh, this is interesting. Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know what
But
I'm saying?
still, even I would give them credit, even if that's the case, because they didn't have to do it.
They didn't have to do it. You know what I'm saying?
There was no real particular market for it. It's not like they had some huge market of Africans and blacks that was buying their comics.
Right.
So
But
just
the
the mere
thing is,
fact that they decided to go that route, and like I said, with Marvel, this Black Panther, nobody, unless you're a comic book head, knew about Black Panther, knew about Wakanda, or knew about vibranium, and
right,
now that has become a part of the national discourse now.
right.
I'm telling you, Kala, just to get off the subject for just a little bit, because the comic nerd in me is coming out.
Yeah.
If somebody had told me 20 years ago that I would be seeing a movie about the goddamn Infinity Gauntlet,
Yeah.
I would have never believed it.
I
If
would someone
somebody had
told
told me that we would be talking about vibranium and Wakanda, I would have never
if
believed it.
somebody would told me we were talking about African nation with magnetically levitated rail, the most advanced rail system in the world, I would say you got to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? You'll never see that, you know? And then when
Yep.
that part, when they're flying into Wakanda versus we're home, remember that? And,
Right.
they were home. I can't tell you the exuberance I felt when they came on. I was like, wow, this is what I'm talking about. I didn't want to leave the theater. I
Hmm.
said, no, this is where I want to be.
And this
You know,
just goes to show you, like what you were saying, that is resonating with black folks, and that's why they came out in droves to see that movie.
people came out with girls came up there with their Wakanda spears, their Wakanda uniforms on and stuff like that, doing Wakanda dances and everything, coming in drums, playing African drums and stuff like that. You
Hmm.
had white folks down in Mississippi. Get this. A million times we talk about this. White folks down in Mississippi had a prayer vigil for black folks. Now they didn't have a prayer vigil when New Jack City came out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Black people losing
Exactly.
their mind.
Are they going to have a prayer vigil for the remake of Superfly?
No, of course not. You know what I'm saying? Of course not. You know what I'm saying? See, all this stuff is just so elementary. We keep saying this and everything. We're getting people angry and angry because they know we're telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? The whole
Hmm.
thing is this. You are trying to be something that you never were supposed to be, a black American. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it doesn't work. Nothing's working for you. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's working for us in America. Now, when we start saying that we're Africans, we're part of Africa, that's what I felt like when I watched Wakanda. When I watch, I call it Wakanda, when I watch Black Panther. I felt like this is what I want. I'm a part of the African story. When they came
Okay.
to America, the ship was a thing, and they had little young killmonger and stuff like that in the inner city. You know what I'm saying? They completely bypassed the whole slavery. I'm not trying to minimize slavery and everything, but just saying that, yes, Africa. And then when they went at the end, when they were going to build a shelter or whatever they're going to build for the
Hmm.
inner city or whatever like that, that connected Africa with the African American. That almost brought tears in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
yes, you know what I'm
And
saying?
you
That
know what else
yes.
was powerful in that movie? And this is something, that movie had a lot of subtle stuff that was powerful in it.
Yeah. You
When
wouldn't
was
catch
the
it.
last time you saw a dark-skinned black man fawning over a dark-skinned black woman?
Yeah, oh yeah, when he kissed what you call what's her name?
Lupita?
Lupita. Yeah, we kissed her at the end. The whole theater was like, even the white, it was a majority white theater. It was like half black, half white. And the theater was packed with that. Even the white people were like, oh, and they started clapping and whatnot. You know. So in
But
other
in the
words,
very beginning, you remember in the very beginning where he went to get her?
yeah. He was like,
And
oh
that
yes,
was the whole thing about him freezing. He's like, just the fact, because he was just so infatuated with this woman. And
right.
you
So
never really seen that on the
never
screen.
said. The women often have to be mixed race or
Yep.
light skin
Yep.
or light
That
skin.
was a
You know what I'm saying?
powerful. That was a powerful image right there that nobody even talks about.
And bottom line is this: the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is saying that yes, black people, we're proud to be black. We're proud to be part of Africa, and this is the future right here. Nothing's gonna turn back. Something started for black. It was, gets me is this: people don't seem to understand something, right? the I always say the internet and the blogosphere is the writing on the wall. Remember I said that years ago? Matter of fact, it was
Hmm.
10 years I wrote that blog. The 10 years, the blogosphere is the writing on the wall. What I mean by the writing on the wall is if you don't see the writing on the wall, you'll miss the message. You know what I'm saying? For 10 years, I've been putting out Pan-African stuff, right? It's been going around the internet, stuff like that. The mainstream media, black culture media, magazines, everything, ignore Africa, ignore everything. Never, there's no discussion, no discourse, nothing what's going on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Black history, African history, the kingdoms of Africa, African Americans and Africans debating about slavery, debating about this back and forth. I'm saying this, that's good. We're communicating.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're communicating. Even when sometimes we're fighting, we're communicating. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Africa. We agree on this. We agree on that. We had the the Blacks Without Borders series. All this was going on underneath the underneath. It's like an undercurrent was going on under the radar. You know what I'm saying? But the Black Panther, the writers of the Black Panther, this movie right here picked up on that. There's something going on. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And then when the Killmonger character and everything like that just brought it all to life. You know what you mean to tell me we're not concerned about integration in America? No. There's black people in America who think that, yeah, we ought to take Africa back. To think about Killmonger's character symbolizes of the African American who really want to go back to Africa, throw white people out and take over. You know what I'm saying? And build that shit. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That's been going on for a long time, and no one wants to. In other words, basically, our history and our sovereignty don't begin and end with the borders of America. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? If you don't get that, you don't get
It's
nothing
so
else.
funny. It's so funny that the people who love Killmonger so much don't take that aspect of his personality. He didn't
Right.
say, did Killmonger go back to America and decide that he was going to bring Wakanda to America?
No. Killmonger wasn't not a Black Power American either. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It said, oh, he was fighting for civil rights. No, he wasn't fighting. He was basically want to take over Wakanda so they could take over the world. As simple as that.
Right.
In other words, the key was he wanted to take over Wakanda, use Wakanda as for different means. You
Right.
know?
His base was going to be Wakanda that would use to control the rest of the world. It wasn't going to be America.
Yeah. So they will love. Oh, I
So
love
you
Yvette
know, so
Carnell.
they love Killmonger, but and
I
they
love
don't.
Killmonger.
Yeah, they love Killmonger. They hate nationalists, but then they worship everything that nationalists do and say.
Yeah, yeah. So the bottom line is, they got it wrong. They thought they were going to preempt. You had Vivica Fox out there talking about, no, we should the proceeds should go to the black community and all stuff. She had a campaign.
No,
It's
the
like
proceeds
Vivica's.
should go to Marvel Comics because Marvel and Disney was the one who went out there and put the concept out there. If you want proceeds to go to something, and you create your own movie fucking industry and you
Right,
start putting out your products and your content.
right.
Stop begging white folks for their money.
Check this out. They were so jealous. You know what I'm saying? Because you got Lupita up there. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was about. Yeah, the other chick up there. You know,
Hmm.
I saw her on what was Jimmy Kimmel or Farrell's Show. She looked hot, man. You know,
Oh, she's beautiful.
she's hot, man. She had hair like in a mohawk. I was like, damn. You know, I was like, damn. You know, I was like, her body's like flawless. You know, and everything about her is flawless. Anyway, the whole thing is this: all these black celebrities and everything. I got Jamie Foxx interviewing Chadwick Boseman, you know, and I'm like,
Hmm.
you know, it's like, you're jealous. You know what I'm saying? You're like, how this guy, Chadwick, he's not doing the A-list celebrities. He's not hanging out with a bunch of stupid rappers. He's not doing none of that stuff like that, you know. And he got the
Hmm.
number one top role, something that you wanted. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Look at the Rock. The Rock, he won't even identify with his black half. Now he's like he wants to get into DC
Why do
to
people
compete with
keep
Marvel.
saying that?
What the Rock?
Why do people keep saying that about The Rock? Because I'm telling you, and I'm because you know me, I don't take nobody's side on nothing. Or
Oh, I love the Rock. I love the Rock.
I've
You know what I'm
never
saying?
heard The Rock deny his black. As a matter of
Oh no
fact,
no no
I've
no!
heard him
Chase out,
many
chase out.
times.
Oh, chase out. So the Rock, when he talks about racism and stuff like that, he'll talk about black this and the other thing. But what we're saying is when he does his movies. You know what I'm saying? His characters are always like like a
Oh,
Hispanic guy or stuff
yeah.
like that. But in real
But you
life,
know
yeah,
what?
I
You
heard
know what,
I heard him
Carla?
before.
You know
Yeah,
what, Carla?
yeah.
If I was a person who was in power, I would let The Rock be The Rock. I don't need The Rock to be Malcolm X for us.
Right,
Let
right,
The
right,
Rock make his
right.
money. Let him be an international
And,
star.
you know, check this out. That's why I told like I'm telling Diane says like, look, The Rock has to be The Rock.
Yeah,
I like him just the way he is. This, that, and the other. He's The Rock. You know what I'm saying? I don't need
The Rock is universally loved, man.
right.
Let
He's
that dude do what
right.
he does and leave him the
Right,
fuck alone.
right. That's what I'm saying. Leave it alone. You know, but the thing is though, but I could tell even him a little bit of like, well, geez, man, this black. See, everybody wanted that role.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everybody wanted that role. They're like,
yeah.
yo, even what you call it, Michael B. Jordan. He really originally wanted the Panther.
Hmm.
Everybody wanted that role, and I know Jamie Foxx wanted that role. LL Cool J, all these people wanted that role. That was like, oh, you know who really wanted the role? Wesley Snipes. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Wesley
Because he
was
was
originally was
he was
supposed to do it.
right. So the
Mhm.
bottom line is, they've been awful quiet. You know what I'm saying? They're like, okay, we hope it didn't fail. So now what we do? They're running scared. You know what I'm saying? They're like, okay, $1.3 billion. There's nothing you can say. That's when you have victory. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? When
yeah.
you have victory, that's what I said. When we build this nation, we start doing this. People all out at the tractors are gonna shut the hell up.
And
You
speaking
know
of
what I'm saying?
which, you was talking about Mansa Musa.
Yeah.
Guess what? Ryan Coogler wants to do.
Oh, Mansa Musa. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
And
You
he's
know
in a
something?
position
I,
to
I
do it
check
because
check this
this
out.
dude is one of the top selling directors of all
The,
time.
the only thing I regret is the fact that I wrote a lot of over the years. Like, you know how I wrote my novel Journey to the Promised Land. I
Hmm.
wrote a lot of excerpts, scenes from Mansa Musa, like character development and stuff like that. His
Hmm.
armor. I wish I could be in on that, but maybe it wasn't meant to be. Then again, why could it be one Mansa movie?
Yeah, it can be
You know what I'm
multiple.
saying? It could be multiple. You know what I'm saying? It could be. I wish the Mansa movie thing would be like Game of Thrones, where you go back in time and this that. It would be different eras and everything. So give other writers to come up with script. Because I got the battle of Karina between Sundiata and Sumiguru when Sumiguru came in and invaded the palace and slaughtered his whole family, but spared him because he was crippled. And
Hmm.
Sundiata studied martial arts. He got prosthetic legs, and he basically rose up in one night and bit by bit defeated Suminguru, and that was the birth of the Mali Empire. I had that story played out so many times. This that the other thing. Different characters, different sets, and everything, different cities. I took the map of West Africa. Okay, we have the first battle right here. He gathers an army here, but he beats a young queen right here who's in exile. He helps her get her kingdom back and everything. He said
Hmm.
he hides his identity from her and everything like that. They really know each other because he remembers her, but she don't remember him, because he was a little older, whatever like that. The two fathers were kings and they knew each other. So I had
Hmm.
all this kind of stuff like that. So, but that's good though, man. But I just hope they, I'll what's up? He makes a Mansa Musa. I'll just sit back and be like, enjoy it. I
Yeah.
know I had some creativity of making a Mansa movie because I know all about the Mali Empire. I know the architecture, the trading system. The Nyamakala comes from the Mali Empire, the craft group system. That's what I named myself after. You know,
Hmm.
I know I studied that history, the Bambara, the Mendi, the Malinkas, and all stuff like that. I studied that for years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I would love to be in on that. But hey, it was all good though. But there should be, but segue to what I'm saying. There should be like you said, think tanks and institutions. That's what we need a think tank for. How can we build our own Disney? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever
Hmm.
heard the story of Walt Disney? Walt Disney was around my age when he first got his first break. He was 49, 50 years old when he first got his first break.
Hmm.
He kept failing, kept failing. They laughed at him, Mickey Mouse character. I think they first liked Mickey Mouse. You know what I'm saying? But basically, his last interview when he built the plans for Disney Studio in 1967, right? The opening of Epcot Center and stuff like that. I was like,
Hmm.
what a testament! Not even what was it, 1940s, whatever. 30 years later, and he said, "This is a map of Florida. This is where we're going to build the Disney World." You know what I'm saying? So he had all this vision in his head, all these years, failure, poverty, and everything. And look at what he was able to do. But I'm gonna say to myself, now what if like Nollywood, right? They got Tanaba Studios and everything. What
Hmm.
if we had our own international film studio industry, which we have a business with films of finance that judge. We have our own Academy Awards like the Asians do, Academy Awards. We have all this stuff like that. We have institutions, you know what I'm saying, to make films. And films have to be basically, okay, films have an impact on the culture. You know what I'm saying? So let's make films that basically include everybody. Now, my problem with this is this. Black Panther was exactly what I'm talking about. Because it was made by African Americans, it was inclusive. Can we trust? I don't think we could trust Nigerians at this time to do that. You know what I'm saying? It would have to be on neutral ground. It would have to be in an Afrikstan. You know what I'm saying? Motion pictures. That's very important. We need authors. We need writers. You know what I'm saying? We need also that. And you're creating opportunity for young people coming up. You know what I'm saying? Because Africa, you're going to have the biggest market. When Africa's middle class growth, you're going to have the biggest market in Asia. It was Asia that made Hong Kong similar what it is. They're the Asian market. The excess they exported to Europe and the United States. You know what I'm saying? But every time you watch a Kung Fu movie, you realize, wait a minute, they're making this for an Asian audience, you know?
Right.
And what is enjoying Asian? What I get from a lot of black movies is made for a white audience. You know what I'm saying? And we're just sitting back as spectators. You know, I want to see us make movies. And I think to be honest with you, I think Black Panther was basically made for a black audience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? It was made for a black audience. I don't think they really envisioned it making $1 billion. I don't think they even thought it was going to do that.
I definitely didn't think it would do that.
Yeah. But the bottom line is this. The hype over it, right? Black people coming supporting it. You know what I'm saying? That's what basically everybody's like, well, we got to see this. You know, what's going on here? You know, white people are always curious, you know?
Right.
You know, let them be curious what we create. You know, don't you be curious by what you tell us we ought to do. That Black Panther movie had so much Pan-African stuff that probably went over the head of most white people. You know what I'm saying? That was us. You know what I'm saying? That was us.
Right.
So us and Africans dealing with each other, man. That was a beautiful movie. I love seeing my African brothers, you know, like, remember Samuel Jackson? I love Samuel Jackson. We said something stupid. Remember the dude from Get Out, Daniel Kaluma, whatever his name is? Oh, you got these black African British actors playing African American roles. Who the fuck cares? You know? I'm like, Samuel, who cares?
This is the thing. It's like, if you're not about the collective, I really don't care about your individual plight. I don't really give a shit about it. You know, that's the thing. It's like everybody wants to have somebody rally around a cause that personally affects them instead of you trying to, like, you know, be a part of something.
Yeah. You know, say, Samuel, what have you done for the building? Your film's grossed over $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? Where's your film studio? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody just sitting back and then acting surprised when shit happens. It's like, if we called this stuff.
Yep.
We called it.
Yep.
And even we didn't realize just how much energy it would get.
Yeah, I figured he would get at least six. I would be happy with 600 million.
Yeah.
But when he made 600 million in the United States, I was like, whoa, that's
Yeah,
gonna
they
hit
beat out Titanic.
You know, I said, yo, that's gonna hit $1 billion. I knew it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Their domestic gross beat out Titanic. I'm like, wow.
I was like, this was something else. This was something else. This basically was like shots fired over the bow. You know what I'm saying? This was saying, wow, this is black people, and wow, you know, a warrior movie, you know, Afrofuturism, everything we could ask for in one film. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow. I said, well, what does that do for you? I said, well, you know how many young black kids are now inspired to get into science and STEM because of this movie? You know what I'm saying? It's cool to be a STEM nerd now. You know what I'm saying? Remember, you heard about that a few months ago, where a black girl committed suicide because kids were bullying her, calling her. This was before Black Panther came out. Kids were bullying her, calling her a nerd because she got good grades in science, and she took her own life. She was 10 years old. She took her own life.
No,
you know?
I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, sad. You know, and then white people, oh, see, black people don't like learning and all stuff. No, just kids are just cruel and mean and everything. I don't know why the kids' parents didn't talk. She couldn't went to her parents. That's one thing I had when I was growing up. I could go to my parents with anything. You know what I'm saying? And they would reassure me about whatever's going on. A young little precious thing took her life. You know,
wow,
because kids bullying her. You know, so so therefore. And one thing about the BAIO, when you come to our group, right, you see STEM group. On Facebook, we got STEM. and everything like that. You got guys that are cool, we're hip and cool and everything, but we like science. We like learn. We're not a bunch of friggin' idiots, you know? We like science, we like business. We talk about business and markets and cryptocurrency, whatever it is, we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Why?
Yep.
Because it's gonna be essential that we know, because the bottom line is this. This is what the beauty about this is this is when somebody comes and says, okay, we're gonna help do business with you guys, right? We have people already know. We don't know the details of what they're doing, but we have an idea. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yep.
you can't see a lot of times in Africa, like you said, that book, Confessional Economic Hitman, that can't happen to us. You know what I'm saying? Because we know. You know what I'm saying? We know what doesn't seem right, whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
therefore, and we brainstorm, and we know you can't get over on us. We're more than capable of carrying this out, this nation building thing out.
Of
You know,
course.
and we're more than capable of doing this. You know what I'm saying? We know
So
what it takes, you know?
let me ask you a question, just to be in line with the theme of the show. What Negro stalling taxes have you come across lately?
Okay, well, they'll say something like Africans don't just give up land. On the chat room last night, Africans are wary of outsiders. Oh, really? The Chinese are there by the millions now. You know, the Lebanese own everything. You know, the Lebanese own Liberia. This Lebanese guy. Get this. This is. Let me tell you a story. Right? I don't know if you heard this or that. Right? This Lebanese guy put a blog out talking about Liberia, my country, and he's one of the Liberian businessmen and everything. And he's saying, "This is my country, whatever. Like, this is my country." In other words, basically, they're boasting about their control over almost all the businesses in Liberia. You know.
Hmm.
Now, get this: there was a nightclub in Liberia. Right. This happened just 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you saw the article where black women were not allowed in this club unless they had a company with somebody. Right. And
Hmm.
then what happened was they said, well, a lot of black girls go in there and they're prostitutes, and then they were catered to a certain upscale thing, right? So this one chick says, well, I'm a business person. I'm like this. And the guy wouldn't let her in the door. Said, no, we don't let Africans in, you know, in their own country, Liberia, you know, Monrovia. It's an exclusive nightclub, right? So we don't let Africans in unless they're women in, unless they're with somebody, whatever like that. So anyway, she called one of her guy friends and he got mad. So what do you do that to her? We humiliate her for. So anyway, it got to, she wrote a blog about it, right? And then it created such a firestorm, right? The management apologized, whatever like that. They say everything. Guess what? 2 days ago, they shut that club down.
Mm.
You know, Lebanese owned. Now, you tell me, oh, Africans don't give it. No. The bottom line is you don't want us to have anything in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I think the Chinese and everybody else didn't get the memo about Africans not giving up land.
Right. And the bottom line is I talk to certain Africans, like only Africans that talk like they don't want to have us in Africa, or those jealous Africans that sit in Australia right now, you know what I'm saying, trying to use every excuse to discredit their own government so they can stay in that country and re-up for their visa, you know, as a refugee. Oh, sorry. Well, why is African Americans going? No, 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 no. So that's the bottom line. And you got people over there that, you got some Africans that only thing they want to do is, like, let me say this one guy on Diane show said, look, Ghanaians have a PhD. It's called pulling them down. Ghana has their own automobile industry, right? But no Ghanaian want to buy their cars.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? There's like they would rather buy BMWs and imported cars than support their own.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Support their own. And that's the problem with African manufacturing, you know? Nobody wants to support locally made products and everything. They think everything coming from the West is good. And that's why Africans always have a trade imbalances. No matter how much investment you have in Africa, Africa has $100 billion a year net loss. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because all these countries can't even get together and form their own shipping company, shipping fleet, like Liberia had in the 60s. They own their own shipping companies, you know what I'm saying? And own their own ships. African countries rely on Westerners, their time schedule to ship goods in and out of Africa. You know what I'm saying? So Europeans control what goes in and what goes out of the continent. All those things can be solved if you have Pan-Africanists on a large scale, Pan-African unit. And the only way you can do that is have a state where Pan-Africanism and Pan-African goals and ideas and think tanks are the law. You know what I'm saying? Are the
Right.
public policy and the law. That's the one thing we never really had in 500 years. We had Pan-African ideology and everything, but we never had it as law. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
We never had it as public policy. This is the law. You know, where we have penalties, fine, and jail times for violation of the law. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That's the beauty about having a nation state of your own. You could pass laws. You know,
Yep.
things that black people don't like. You know what I'm saying? Well, how try passing some laws of your own, and you'll start liking the law, or you'll love the law when you're the one passing them. When it
Right.
benefits you, or you'll love the law.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When you don't see no benefit in the law, of course you have contempt for the law. But when you know, okay, in Singapore, the littering on the street gets you 10 lashes, whatever like that, there's a reason. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it keeps our city beautiful. It's your city. You know?
Yep.
So the bottom line is, like Edward Wilmot Blyden said when he looked over at the four-way. You ever seen pictures of four-way Bay College, one of the first colleges in West Africa, in Sierra Leone, in Sierra Leone, Freetown? Four-way college is so beautiful. Even some of the old pictures of it, it was beautiful college. Edward Wilmot Blyden talked there, and he will overlooking a river and everything like that, grassy land, everything.
Hmm.
You would think you were looking at a mountain in the Shenandoah Valley. But he said, "Look, man," he told sent the letter to the black people. He called us African Americans back then. He said, "The problem," he said, "all the questions and all the stuff you're searching for is right here on these shores."
Hmm.
He said, "Everything you need in America that you want and everything you desire is right here on these shores. If you come here and build, it's always been the answer." Now, what I'm saying is this: if we build a state, all Black America will benefit on a global scale.
Of course.
It will benefit on a small scale because you have psychologically some places say, "Well, I'm gonna go on property over there. I think I'm gonna go for summer vacation in the Afrikstan. I think I'm gonna study over there in the university. I think I'm gonna teach for a year.
Hmm.
And not only that, it'll create unity. What I'm saying, because when you're on a plane and you're on a plane with passengers getting ready to go over there, and everything, you be talking in fellowship. And, oh yeah, I'm going over there to do this, and other thing. Right now, we have no excuse to be together other than talk about racism. And what happens is it creates resentment.
Hmm.
Because let's be honest with ourselves. I saw this one video with this one mixed race chick, right? I don't know if you've seen her. She's real pretty. She's on YouTube, right? And she was basically saying, I have to, when I talk about racism, I talk about it a different way because I know my experience is not the same as a lot of black people who are more visibly. I say that's true though. You know what I'm saying? Not every
Hmm.
black person has the same experience of racism in America. You got upper class black people who don't feel it as much as poor black people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Highly
They can
yellow black
insulate
chip.
themselves to a certain degree.
Right. So, see what I'm saying? So therefore, you can't just every time you want to black people's vote, racism, white man, blah blah blah, and you being disingenuous because you know for yourself, you probably got money, you got this and the other thing, but you're playing on the fears of the poor black people so they can support you. That's another thing I can't stand. You can't solve racism, and you ain't suffering from racism like the black person who's working class, whatever. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? But you'll use that conundrum to draw them in to support you for your bullshit cause or your bullshit thing. And
Hmm.
oh yeah, I got the black vote. Okay, I got him out there. I got him out there. And that's why, and like I said in the last my video, a video that I did the Block the Radio show is black people stayed home this election, this last election, because
Hmm.
the black establishment have ran out of excuses. You know what I'm saying? As they ran out of excuses, they ran out of ideas, and they can't justify their presence. You know what I'm saying? Only thing you do is talk about Trump now. Trump, Trump,
Yeah.
Trump, 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 Trump. Like black people, like we'll
That's
ride.
becoming a boring
I
conversation.
said we'll ride Trump out. You know what I'm saying? We'll ride the Trump out. Well, we'll let ride him off for 8 years. He ain't, black people still getting shot. Say nothing happened, nothing
Trump ain't
changed.
got nothing on Cheney.
Yeah,
You
Cheney.
dealt with him for 8 years.
Dick Cheney, this guy still to this day is unapologetic about lying about weapons of mass destruction. He
Hmm.
still says Saddam Hussein got him and caused a war. And then hid the fact that remember when the CIA, Valerie Plame, they lied about the yellow cake in Niger. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? All that. Now you would think Comey, who was FBI at the time, would have been investigating that. You know what I'm saying? He did
Hmm.
nothing. You know what I'm saying? Did nothing. It was Hitler's law firm and the Clinton Foundation was in on it too. What's going on with the yellow cake rain, whatever. The Russians were in on it too. Yellow cake. So the bottom line is, there's never been an investigation and never nothing. So in other words, it tells me that they basically want to destroy whoever they want to destroy. They're not. We don't have a real law enforcement body in this country. The FBI, if they want to target Mr. Holmes' collar, they will do it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They'll bring you in here, start asking you questions about, oh, where was you at on this night right here? Well, we saw you with this chick right here. Who's this? Oh, no, nobody's like that. And then you get on under oath, right? Oh, we just found out. Guess what? Yeah, his picture, you sleep with her. You know what I'm saying? You were trying to hide from your girlfriend, whatever like that. You just lied under oath. No, I was lying because I wanted to protect my relationship and everything. But you put that out, put me on thing. That's why if I have any questions, I'm like, I ain't telling you shit. I plead the fifth. Well, what do you? They ask you questions that had nothing to do with what they originally investigate you for. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what they got Kwame Kilpatrick with. You know what I'm saying? They asked about an extramarital affair. He didn't. Of course, you're gonna deny it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh no, like, So what was that even a question? That had nothing to do with quid pro quo or what he did, what you accuse him of, right? All you got him for was lying under oath. Same thing with Blagojevich in Chicago. All the stuff like this. So this is a wake up call to anybody who basically who they don't like. You know what I'm saying? If they call you and ask you about this, did you have this? I'm not answering that. Or you better answer the question. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? You ain't get me to say anything under oath. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you.
Just want to give a shout out to one of my friends, Mariella, is listening in. Peace, sis. We got Supreme Shabazz in the chat room.
Peace,
Peace
brothers,
to
sisters.
you.
You know what I'm saying?
Onyx Razor Thicket.
One thing people understand about the BAIO, we're some laid back, cool brothers. You know what I'm saying? We ain't judging nobody. We ain't sitting there beating you over the head. We ain't saying we got all the answers and everything like that. And all we say is, look, man, if you want to participate with some cool brothers who got ideas and who know we can do what we want to do, just join the Ning site, join us on Facebook. And so let's just start doing this. You know what I'm saying? What do you have to lose? You have absolutely nothing to lose. We're not asking you for your money. We're not asking you for anything. We're just saying, what do you have to lose? If
Yeah,
you
I
don't
keep
think
telling
about
people all
yourself.
the time, man, that the only thing that really you have to do as a black person here in America is say that you want to have a nation.
Yeah.
That's all.
And also, it's time for us to part ways with this relationship with white America. You know what I'm saying? Part ways are, we have irreconcilable differences. In other words, basically, I have two things I want to think. I want to ask you your opinion on this, Brother Hope. I said there's two ways we can look at this. We're the white man's bitch, and we basically want to divorce, or we're adults now and we've outgrown America. What do you think is better? I think we've outgrown America, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I think stay in
Actually, I
America.
don't think that I know it. It's especially when it comes to me, because my whole thing is I don't really think I think that we have everything in place to do what we have to do. Like I'm not even big into the recruiting thing anymore. What I want to do is get people of like mind to start working and networking with each other. We got
Right.
over 300 members now in the BAIO
Mm-hmm.
from all over the
And
country
also,
and all over the
also,
world. You know what I'm saying?
also,
Hold on,
we
hold on,
have like,
hold on,
yeah,
hold on. Um, we got all over the country, all over the world. And I'm more concerned with building with those people that's already I don't want to preach to the choir anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like the
yeah,
guys who's in the chat room right now, these guys are all down. They all want a nation. So why are we even talking to these other motherfuckers? Why are we even talking and wasting our time trying to convince you got to convince a black person in America to have their own nation? Really?
right. That beyond anything scope of imagination, I can't really understand. What is it that you think you have to lose? And you know what it is too is you have a lot of black people who just basically they like playing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? These people in America are not playing with you. They're not going to open their arms up and say, something, black people, we're sorry and all
Yeah,
stuff
we
like
was
that.
wrong.
And we were wrong and all stuff like that. They doubling down on it. They even now saying, yeah, we did you a favor by bringing you over here. You
And you
know,
got black folks saying it.
yeah,
It's black folks. Why
sick.
you think black folks actually agreed? A lot of people agreed with Kanye West.
Yeah, sickness. It's the sickness. It's a sickness. And the whole thing, the bottom line of this is because they do not see you as human like they had. Because I know for a fact the matter is white people will never live in a situation where they're at a disadvantage. If you see whites in South Africa, it's because they still got the power, they got advantage and everything. They even treat this to this day. They still treat black people like this shit. You know, black people still intimidated by white people. They don't go into white areas and everything like that. The best restaurants and everything is still white. You know what I'm saying? It's not a damn thing really changed. You know what I'm saying? Other than you got the black majority and everything, you got these so-called middle class blacks and everything who don't want to disrupt anything. There's like the fact that they're living in so-called black majority, but the world don't see it like that. We still see white people as being in control, and the majority of black people still live in shanty towns with no running water and everything like that. They can hide it all they want and everything, and so therefore those black people in South Africa and America, they're comfortable. Now, what gets me is this: let's say you have comfort in America, right? Now, I've seen this, Mamone. I know you've seen this too. Have you ever known rich Jews that live in Westchester County, New York, and everything? They live in Westchester County and everything. They live in nice houses and everything. I've seen Jews be like this. Yeah, our kids are grown. I think we're gonna sell the house and whatnot. We're moving to Israel. And people will say, well, why? And then they go to Israel, right? And they live in a modest house, right? A modest living, everything. Why would they do that? Why would they give up their thing? One's a doctor, whatever, like that, and wife's this, and they will give that up to live in Israel. Why? Because they want to have the feeling of being with their own people, you know. And then you have Jews. I knew Jews that go to Israel every summer. They're always over there on vacation and everything like that. I know Italians that go to Italy. Some parts of Italy don't even have indoor plumbing. But like, oh yeah, we're going to Italy for the summer. We're going to Greece, and everything like that. I just got back from Greece and everything. We're the only group of people that seem to be trapped inside the confines of America, except for black people from the Caribbean. They go to the islands and everything. You might as well stay in America, Building in Africa will give you a mental and psychological escape. You know what I'm saying? When you go over, then you come back, you'll feel empowered. You know what I'm saying? You go into a whole world. Right now, because and white people, how they reach you? They reach you by the internet now. When you read these comments and everything, YouTube and everything, they seem like somebody got shot. Well, good, officer. Good job, officer. The officer did nothing wrong. You see the comments, you know what I'm saying? He did nothing wrong, You should comply, you know what I'm saying? You should do all stuff like that. Every time black people get shot, abused, white people say that. Why? Because they know you're reading that and you're getting angry. They want you, whatever it is, white people feel that they're not happy unless you're miserable. You know what I'm
Batman
saying?
versus the Joker. Like I
Yeah.
said,
You
Batman
you have
versus the
you
Joker.
you have to be miserable. You have to be in pain, crying, everything for them to feel white. You know what I'm saying? Because the bottom line is if you're too happy and you're going along with unless only black people they accept is the ones that agree with them. Yeah, please.
Yo, do you
Yeah.
have friends that you know of that's involved in dysfunctional relationships, like where they had a boyfriend or a girlfriend and they constantly fighting with each other, but yet they don't want to leave each other?
Of course, all the time. All the time.
This is what's
All the
going
time.
on with black folks here in America. And like I said, I always use that white man versus the Joker because that's exactly what it is. It's like they are locked in this eternal battle and they're both getting off on the battle.
Right. And
No
which
one
like
no one really wants to kill the other one because if you kill the other one, then that ends the battle.
right. It'll say so the bottom line we keep this conundrum going up, all this black white thing. I don't do the black white thing. This guy came in the chat room last night, right? I just kicked him right out. Well, Wakanda's not real. I'm like, first of all, a white guy, a racist, why are you on a Pan-Africanist network and everything? Don't you got other things to do? Should you be burning a cross somewhere? You know what I'm saying? Why would you basically, that's one thing we, the BAIO, we don't tolerate. We don't want to hear your fucking opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I think, Holip, you was the one who put me onto that years ago. You know what I'm saying? Not letting these freaking people speak on our networks and stuff like that.
No,
I didn't see
no.
I didn't
So
see,
I'm gonna tell you, when
I
I
didn't see the
get
logic
into
in that. They'll say, but now I do.
I've
You
gone
know?
into I've gone into forums where it's supposed to be like black forum where we talking about black issues, right? And
Right.
I'll go into a forum and I see a white person in that forum. You know what I do?
Yeah. Get out.
I get out
Mm-hmm.
because I know that this is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. It said that all they want to do is basically attract the sympathy of the white person. Now, let me ask you a question, though, right? There's not one Pan Africanist forum that's in that's originated out of South Africa or Namibia that don't have white people in it. White people make sure they're in it. They want to know what's going on. They report you in a minute. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was in one South African site, a group and everything like that, and I used to go back and forth with these white racists and everything. And they were like, "Yo, why is this guy in here? He's not in South Africa. He's from America. They're spewing all this hate and everything like that." And I realized that, in other countries, that's the way it is. They don't mind whites. It's particularly Liberians make me sick with that. You'll have this guy, had this one guy, Gunther, he's a fucking white guy. I think he's a pedophile, to tell you the truth. But anyway, the whole time he telling Liberians, yeah, Sweden wanted to colonize you. And you got native Liberians say, I wish you guys would have called us better than these American Liberians. And then he'll be like, yeah, the American Liberians this, American Liberians this. And then he was like, and then he'd be like, Colin, why are you in here, man? Because you're in America. You have nothing to do with Africa. I'm like, well, first of all, Liberia was built by my ancestors. You know what I'm saying? You're over there as an interloper. You know what I'm saying? And you're basically using the indigenous Liberia because, they're ignorant. They worship everything a white man says and everything. And so, therefore, I haven't seen him in a while, though. I don't know. He must, because he saw that after, this was like 6 years ago, and he must have saw the influence I had in Liberia, right? And I'm telling native Liberians, the only chance you have on this earth is you better stop with this tribalist shit. You know what I'm saying? If you don't stop with this tribal shit, you're going to now, they see that because of the racism, even Donald Trump being elected, whatever like that, and they're about to be kicked out of America in another year, something like that. And this racism stuff is real. And so now they're like, well, this and the other thing. You don't see a lot of whites in these their forums as much as they used to. That's because of me, because I used to talk about black issues, Pan-Africanism, before they wouldn't even talk about race. And so they will let white people come in, make stupid comments. I said, why is this white guy? Oh, he lives in Liberia, so he's technically a Liberian. No, he's not.
No.
You know?
See, that's what lets me know that I judge the forum by that.
Yeah.
Because when I used to go to the slave theater, there were lots of white people that tried to sneak in.
Yeah.
You know what happened? They tap them on the shoulder and escort them out the door.
They get the hell out,
Because why are you in a black forum? What is your purpose for being there? And how our people is. It's like whenever we get white people around, if they just around us, it disturbs the whole energy of whatever you're trying to do.
Right. It's all
because instead of you being honest, instead of you being truthful, you trying to be accommodating.
That's what they want. They whole idea is you have to be accommodating for the white. It's like you got white people listen to our forums like BAIO. It's like, well, where's the end of the rainbow? When are you guys gonna say we need to work together but no, that's not that. In other words, basically, it's like this. BAIO is like a tragic ending for them. You know how you go to a movie and how does this end? Well, it ends where everybody dies. Oh shit, everybody gets blown up in the end. Yeah, that's the BAIO. You know what I'm saying? In other words, what's the end game for the BAIO? The BAIO is well, if we're successful, when we're successful, we won't have to deal with you anymore. That's the end game. And so therefore, white people look at it like, I can't have that. They gotta constantly keep dangling integration and let's get along and everything. And no black people ever say, look, we tried that. We tried the let's get along stuff. It ain't working. Now let's try something else. White people have it in their mind. A lot of black people, or this is what it is. They make sure they get black people on their thing on national television when they talk about race. Blah 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 blah. The end of the conversation is, well, we got to all work together because we're all Americans. When I heard Al Sharpton say that shit, I was like, I know this guy's a freaking phony. He gets up on his television show after everything. I still believe in this country. And all this guy, no, you don't. You don't believe in this country. Everything I know about Al Sharpton, why you loathe this country. You know what I'm saying? But since you're MSNBC and they're paying you well, you know what I'm saying? You're just walking the talk and walking the walk and talking the talk. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, you can't trust him. You know what I'm saying? Because why? Because he's bought into the Democratic, liberal, whatever it is, this and the other thing. The bottom line, he's getting a paycheck, and he doesn't care. He doesn't think that there's going to be a revolution in our thinking. And the whole thing, what angers them right now is black people are turning away from the political process in droves. We're not showing up. There was an election in Newark. No, it was at Camden. I think they said less than 20% of the people show up to vote in Camden, New Jersey recently. And I'm saying, I said, I was absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? The last 8 years of Obama, you know what I'm saying? Black people just basically gave up on this political process altogether. And what I didn't know, but it was going to be on a local level too. I thought it was just a national level. Black people are not showing up to vote. Why? Because the voting basically gives the system credibility. Now, what happens when a group of people, 45 million people, just basically turn their back on America and say, we're not voting, we're not going to participate in the electoral system, whatever like that? That's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to have a small poll because it gives the system validation. You cannot
See, the BAIO fills a void because what's happening now is just a natural and organic progression. People are realizing, whether it be on a conscious or unconscious level, that this is a waste of fucking time.
Yep.
And this is what I keep telling people all the time. It's like the reason why these conscious community dudes and this whole cultural conscious community is not gathering any numbers in their favor and people are leaving in droves is because you keep running people around and they're using their energy up and you're not replacing it with anything.
Yeah, like Malik Zulu Shabazz.
What's the end goal? What's the end game? It can't just be this vague notion of blackness that everybody keeps talking about. It's like, that's why I said I stopped even using the term sellout. Because what are you selling out?
We have nothing to buy into. You know what I'm saying?
You know, like, oh, so-and-so is a sellout. Sellout to what? Some vague abstraction of what you think blackness is? Give me something fucking tangible and concrete.
Tangible and concrete. I'm saying you can sell out.
And then you can say, all right, well, that person is not supporting nationhood. So you're selling out because you're not down with nationhood. That I can get with.
Yeah. And these people are like, oh, he's a sellout. Sell out to what? You know what I'm saying? Some vague abstract. Well, give me some specific. Well, you know, they'll start mumbling. Blah, 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 blah. You know, the cause. What cause? Well, you know, this and the other. You know who did that one time? Chris Rock. I don't know if you remember this. What you call remember Bill Maher's show, Politically Incorrect?
Yeah.
Remember that? I remember one time Chris Rock was on there with Al Sharpton, right? And I don't know if you remember this, but it was like at the end of the show, right? And Al Sharpton said something to the effect of, yeah, and we got to get together. And I'm saying Chris Rock said, get together and do what? Well, you know, the cause. I said, what cause? He goes, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, sweat. He was like this. I keep hearing this talk about, oh, we got to get together. We got to do what? You know, what's going to be the end result of what you're talking about? Well, you know, Chris, he started trying to joke around like it's a joke. And Chris Rock was dead serious. You know, what the hell are you talking about?
They talking,
and I was like, damn.
They talking platitudes and vagaries.
Yeah, you know,
that's the thing. Like the conscious community and the black talking heads and all of these people, they love the vague and the abstract because it has. When you're vague and you're abstract, there's no accountability.
Like Samora Michael said.
Like, think about it. Nationhood means that if you don't do what you say you're going to do, you're held accountable for it. Now you can say, like, this society, like right now, the president of the United States is a fucking liar. He can just say anything. He can contradict himself from sentence to sentence, and it doesn't mean anything. There's no repercussions from it. As a matter of fact, he probably gets more popular because I really believe that Donald Trump represents what this country is all about. To me, everything is right in the world right now. Donald Trump is president and Cardi B is the #1 artist in the country. This is what it should be.
That's what America is.
This is what it should be.
Donald
A
Trump is,
person with no musical talent is the number one music artist in the world, and a person with no political education doesn't know shit from his asshole is the president of
of
the
the
United
United States.
States. It
And that's
makes
what it is.
perfect sense.
People say, "Oh, the system's broken." No, the system is a function the way it actually is supposed to
Yeah,
function. That's the way it was designed. It was
the Koch
designed to
brothers
function.
are supposed to run the political game because that's the way the system is set up. I mean, bribery is legal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got Citizens United. You know what I'm saying? A foreign entity could set up their own political PAC money and everything, like fund political campaigns. But that Justice Scalia approved of that, right? But yeah, you got idiots like Sean Hamilton. We want original justices like Scalia. So Justice Scalia didn't say anything about the Iraq War, which was undeclared war. That's an original justice. The original justice, I mean, Congress had the right to declare war, not the freaking president. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
See, these people talk with this stuff, and then when they on TV, nowhere is a hole. Let me stop you right there. Let me
of
stop you
course
right
not.
there.
And another
And,
thing is, this is the problem. Like, if cops come now, according to the law, you can't search and seize without a warrant, right?
well, now they do it anyway.
But let's say cops come and bust down your door. What are you going
Mm-hmm.
to do if you take a constitution and you hold it over your chest? Is it going
You
to
know,
stop them bullets?
no, he's gonna shoot you and whatnot. He's gonna shoot you with that Constitution and wipe off the blood with the Constitution that you're
So
holding.
all of these laws is just an opinion backed by a gun. If you don't have the ability to enforce a law, then that
Yeah,
law means nothing.
and you don't have. And also, there's another thing. What I hear black people talk about. I'm from the Huey Newton Gun Club, and I'll write the Second Amendment. Look, first of all, idiot.
Second
That
Amendment
second
Fucking
right was not
jackasses.
freaking written for your black ass. You know, that Second Amendment is going to get black people killed. You know
Did
what I'm
you
saying?
see? Did you see? I remember this was on. I think it was when Bill O'Reilly was on, and he had Travis. What's his name? What's that guy name? Travis Smiley.
Yeah, Tavis Smiley.
Yeah, Tavis Smiley. He was on his show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the clip, like they were going into the gun thing, and Tavis suggested that black men get guns, and Bill O'Reilly's whole framing changed.
Yeah. They don't want that. That cannot happen. The Second Amendment was designed to fight Indians, pirates. Remember, so America had to protect its coastline. You know, it still had to worry about the British, had to worry about the Spanish, and the Mexicans, and all these other people, the Indians, and slave uprising. To be honest with you, you know, and that's what the Second Amendment was for, so people can form their own militia. And also, they figured you got a faraway government. People still at that time didn't really trust the new government. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, that's why you think people. I didn't know this until Obama was elected. These local governments have power. You know what I'm saying? They have power. And I learned about Lincoln, and Lincoln had to go to. You know what I'm saying? He had a civil war in this country, which nobody was prosecuted for. You know what I'm saying? Because the way this is set up right here, the white people dominate these local municipalities, the state governments and everything. And there's a reason why we don't form a majority in any state, because that will give us power. So you think they're gonna let you build an economic base in a state like Wyoming, which black people could overtake the country easily with 2 million people? Black people could flood out there and start have a majority black legislature and state and possibly secede from America. That'll never happen in a million years. So
It's
these
not
guys,
going to happen. This
so
is
so
this is of a point that we've been making forever, and I don't understand why people are still challenging us and fighting us on this point. Because as far as I'm concerned, we cannot be defeated on this point. And the point is that from a strategic point of view, you are not going to establish your power base inside of America. You
inside
have
of
to be a
America.
fucking jackass to think that you are. And anybody out there that's telling y'all that we can have a power base inside of America,
Run
you
from me
need to
like you
be
would a
running.
rattlesnake.
Yeah, you need to be running in the complete opposite direction of wherever that fool is because they are jackass.
To Malik Zulu Shabazz says, and I love Malik and his brother and everything, but he says, tells Donald Trump, first of all, nobody was at his rally. Nobody should. They had 10,000
Why?
black
What are
men,
we going for?
and they had 20 people show up. And he says, give us the state of Florida. So all the beautiful canals and lakes
Oh
and everything
Lord,
like
have
that,
mercy.
the beautiful Tallahassee, Disney, and all these cities. White people is going to up and thing and hand the whole state of Florida over to black folks.
So, in our infinite wisdom, we're gonna go and try to negotiate land deals with white folks.
In Florida,
Instead of going, why? How come none of these Negroes are negotiating any deals with Aliko Dangote?
because why? Because they would have to legal language. They might say yes. He might say yes, and then it's like, oh wow, that means let me tell you something about some of these guys, right? They really got no plan. They're not really that smart.
Of course
They're
not.
not really that organized. They're not like the BAIO who actually study land development and stuff like that. It's that only thing the BAIO don't have is really the money. But these guys get hundreds of thousands of dollars donations and everything. We don't take donations because we don't want to be seen like them. But one day we're gonna have the money too to put all this together. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna be unstoppable. But the thing is, these guys know that the people that they dealing with, they don't have to be held accountable for nothing. Well, Liko Dango say, okay, I like what you're saying. Has $20 million, right? All right, now what do you do with it? By the time 2 years roll around, all that $20 million will be gone. And what'll happen? They'll say, oh, well, this, that, the other thing. No, because you didn't have a plan to begin with.
And that's why I believe that there has to be transparency at this particular, because black folks have been burned and hurt and beat up so much. I am not supporting anything that doesn't have 100% transparency. Every dollar spent should be accounted for, and people should be able to go and look and see where this money is going
in real time. Every transaction, there should be a published monthly statement. This is what we spent it on.
If you ain't doing that, don't come to me asking me to don't give no money to nothing unless it's 100% transparent.
If you don't do that, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And I tell people all the time.
I'm letting people know that straight up right now. You can call me whatever the hell you want to call me. I ain't giving money to nothing unless it's 100% transparent. That's the reason why the BAIO is not taking any funds, because until we can establish that infrastructure for receiving funds where everything is on board, then I'm not taking no money from you.
Mm-hmm. We don't want your money. Don't call people. Oh, can I donate? No, I don't want your money. I have people offer me. Can I donate money to BL? Okay, if you want to offer something, $10. You know what I'm saying?
That's all.
$10. You want $10 to help us out with our little things that we do, the Ning site.
That's what we
and everything
do.
like that. You'll say that's what we do. Say every month. And so $10. You want to throw $10 in the pot, whatever. Help out. Fine.
I got my $10 on auto on PayPal. So every beginning of the month, it takes my $10 out. And if everybody was doing that, I practice what I preach.
I put 20 in every month. I said $20. $20 automatically goes into the thing every month. I'm like, hey, kid, go ahead, boom, 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 boom. That's what I do. I said that's the least I could do to support a cause. And look how far we at. We're the only organization with our own Ning site. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else has to use free platforms like Facebook and everything. You tell me you taking hundreds of thousands of dollars in and you don't have an independent platform that you're paying for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we have everybody's just trying to use the people and live off the people. And that's the reason why I like those transparent funds, because they ain't gonna be no living off the people, nigga. Ain't gonna be none of that.
If you could get 100,000 views saying bullshit, and you got a GoFundMe up there on that, my GoFundMe. What do you think? Let me tell you something about you people that donate to these GoFundMes and everything. These Negroes are living off that GoFundMe. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm doing this. I'm buying this. No, you're paying his bills. You're paying that Negro's bills.
Yo, you know what? I'm engaging in what I call tough love.
Mm-hmm.
If you are reliant upon GoFundMe and all this other stuff for funds, what that means is that you don't want to be a part of any organized nation. You don't want to be a part of a real support system. You want to go out there on your own ass, then don't ask me for a fucking dime.
So don't ask me to support you with everything.
I'm not supporting shit except Nationhood.
That's it. If you ain't for Nationhood, and what gets me is this, and you got all these people, all these solutions and everything. I said, look, wouldn't the idea of spending energy talking about a nation of our own, land of our own, wouldn't that be the no? See, we're not at that level yet. I said, what do you mean we're not? I'm at the level right now. You know what I'm saying? I've been at the level, so why can't I do it? Well,
what level that they even fucking talking about?
No. Basically, what they're saying is, if people start supporting the idea of nationhood, they wouldn't be sending them money anymore. That's what it is. They won't send them anywhere. No. If nationhood's a solution, if people start talking about it, they'll start my GoFundMe account will go down.
Supreme Zabaz says, when will the BAIO have a documentary?
Soon.
I know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
No, we won't have any documentary called 8 a.m. either.
Oh yeah, documentary. Yeah. The bottom line is you gonna make a documentary telling us how we're getting fucked and this, that, and the other thing. Say at 7 a.m. we gotta get up there and or everybody gotta open up a business. So you're gonna beat black people up for not having a business. Let me tell you something, folks right here. As a person who owns a business right here, in this current climate right here, I would say like this: if you got your job, keep that freaking job. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Open a business, man, you incur debt. Like, I'm not saying you can't do it and everything, but you better have partners and deep pockets. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's
So
not, because you got to understand something. The system wants to keep you a thousandaire.
mm-hmm.
The system does not want you to have your own independent business or any of that. The system
No.
wants you to work. So this is the thing that people don't seem to understand. If you want to thrive in the way that you want to, you got to do it outside of this American context, because this system is in place for a reason. You are in the position that you're in this society for a reason. It's not an accident.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you notice something, whenever you are just a cog in the wheel, like let's say, I'm just going to say that this is what your life is. You go to work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
On the weekends, you go to a club and you hang out with your friends. Repeat, rinse, recycle, same thing over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
You are the perfect citizen.
Mm-hmm. The
Now,
bottom line
let's
is
say that time when you decide, you know what, I'm tired of working. I want to get me a business. And then you start trying to get together with your friends and form something. You are going to get the full brunt of this system
yeah.
going, because the system does not want you to do that. The
It's
system wants you
unforgiving.
to work
Mm-hmm.
and give back to it so it can feed off of you until it's time to put your ass into some soft soil.
It takes out. The bottom line is this: when you are a piece of property in your lifetime, the money you generate. Well, how much you talked about? We're going to circulate the black dollars. Well, you're generating revenue. That's the initial revenue. Everybody generate revenue. How much revenue? Everything, but for the most part, the government's going to make interest off that. You put that money in the bank through bank transactions, through the food you buy, the subway token you buy. You funnel and feed the system, keep the system going.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's having the infrastructure all that. Now, all I'm saying is this: what if you had a black-owned system?
Right.
And guess what? You're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to work. You know what I'm saying? If you're lucky enough to have a business over there, fine. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, yeah, you're going to be working and everything. Now, you won't have to complain about the glass ceiling. That's the one thing. That's the benefit.
Right.
Think about it. Think about it, Negro.
It'll
Think
be
about
your system.
You'll be your system.
Basically.
Now, now, if you don't get the promotion because you weren't qualified, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can't say
It's like you ain't gotta say racism and white supremacy. You don't have to. It's not even affected. But I just want to make this one point, because I want people to get the point of what I'm saying. I'm not being negative. I'm not saying that you can't have a business, because you can't. I'm not saying that you can't step outside the box and create something of your own, because I encourage that. You can.
Yeah.
What the point I'm making is, the system is not going to be conducive for you to do that. You're going to have to fight for it.
You
You're going to have to work
fight hard.
extra hard compared to if you were just working and going to the club on the weekends. That's what I'm saying.
They make that easy for you.
That's easy. Your life is beautiful then.
You know what I'm saying? You go to the club, this, that, and the other thing. You spend it. You got a car note. You know what I'm saying? That you're paying that car. You know what I'm saying? You're putting some car dealership his kids through college right now because you're paying a high car note, which you really can't afford. You're paying auto insurance and everything like that. So the bottom line is that the system is designed for a thing. They know you got to have certain things you want. They know you need the latest clothes. You need the latest this, that, and the other thing and everything. And I'm not saying I'm any better because I'm part of it too. You know what I'm saying? We are part of it too. I'm not gonna say all holy and down.
That's what people keep accusing us, as if we're saying that we're sitting on some fucking bubble outside of the system. We're here in America like you are.
We are. We're doing the same freaking thing, paying money into the system. You know what I'm saying? I spend my money here, this, that, the other thing. I go to the movies. I'm not saying that I need to go to a black-owned theater to see Black Panther. I went to the Cinema Cafe.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is, I'm doing the same thing. What you do? The bottom line, I'm saying that, look, the same way that you are not rising up against the system, Why can't you basically support a system of your own on the African continent,
Thank
which
you.
all the money that you generate, your blood, sweat, and tears, will go to building and fertiling your new nation? You know what I'm saying? That's
Exactly.
all. That's all. You go over
I
there.
wanna have, is there anybody, I have to, I've been so busy with other shit. And this is one of the problems of trying to do what we do and having a life and working and doing all this stuff at the
That's
same
what I'm
time.
saying. And look
I
how much
would
we still
love
get
to
done.
know, are there any people in the BAIO in our group that are website designers?
Yeah, we need skills.
Because
If
what
you
I
can
want,
donate your time,
I think the first thing that we definitely need to have the infrastructure for an African American fund.
yes, yes. A
That is
portal, a
first and
portal, a
foremost.
portal, build a portal. You know what I'm saying? A portal where
Because I
people could.
don't want the BAIO collecting funds, because then that's going to be problematic. They're going to say, "Oh, the BAIO taking your money." No, 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 no. I want to create a 100% transparent format as the infrastructure for Black folks to dedicate to
What about
contribute
what? Turns
money
out,
on a monthly basis
what
to that.
about an endowment? We'll create an endowment. You know what I'm saying? An endowment. That's an insurance plan.
Whatever you
You know
want
what
to
I'm saying?
call it,
An endowment. It's an endowment.
as long as it's transparent and everybody knows where the
Oh,
money is going.
trust me. An endowment is transparent. What they do is they take the funds in. You know what I'm saying? And the money is invested. You know what I'm saying? It's invested in stocks, whatever you want to do. It's an endowment fund. You know what I'm saying? And it has a certain amount reserved in cash on hand, and the other part is invested in everything. And then whatever the board of directors decide, okay, this is we spent here. But the bottom line, it allows people who are part of it to contribute. You know what I'm saying? You know, contribute. It works perfect with, and this is another thing. What I don't understand is this: Black organizations never create these. You know what I'm saying? The Brene Brown, the Jewish organization, they got their endowment. The membership fees and everything goes into this endowment. That's where they're able to get stuff done. They don't have to beg nobody for it. They can do whatever they want to do. We have never had that sort of thing where we had a national fund, which millions of dollars are generating every day into, and everything is completely transparent.
Oh, Kala, I'm glad you made me think of something. Killer Mike was on Bill Maher's show this recently on Friday,
Right.
and he said something, and I was like shocked. He said we don't want reparations, we need land.
Right.
That's what he said on
Land
Bill
is the
Maher's
basis
show.
of the
And
basis of
I
wealth.
was sat back. I was like, "Whoa, did he just say that?"
Land is the basis of wealth. Let me tell you something. Every dollar that you have in your pocket, everything it has to be have land. Everything. You can't build industries. You can't drill oil. You can't build a road. You can't have commerce. You can't have farms. Everything starts with land. You know what I'm saying? And also the productive capacity of the land. That means the sort of skill sets, the sort of everything, the organization, everything like that, the rule of law, all stuff like that. That's what generates wealth. You know what I'm saying? Black people do not have any power over any in North America. You know what I'm saying? You think about it, 500 years, and we don't even, if we're supposed to be Native Americans, how come we don't have no reservations at least? You know, do you see the African American Cherokee Negroes with casinos anywhere, Holip, that I know about? You know,
No.
you know what I'm
As a
saying?
matter of fact, I see a lot of Native Americans fighting against having blacks being a part of any of that because they know they got to share some of the money with them.
Because it's land. You know what I'm saying? Land means you can build infrastructure. You can build once you see when you have land, right? You have the land starts with raw land. This is what I'm saying. Like, I learned this when I moved here to Virginia Beach, right? And when I lived in New York, everything was developed, right? So I've never seen a neighborhood, a community develop from nothing. You know what I'm saying? I moved here in Virginia, and particularly when you live in the South, right? Live in the South, right? You'll see trees and swamps and everything be cut it down. And I'm like, what are they gonna do with that, you know? And then within 6 months, you'll see the land leveled out. You know what I'm saying? Next
Hmm.
thing you know, you see them putting sewer lines down, electrical lines, and everything like that. A few months later, you'll see roads built, and then you'll see shopping centers. You'll see houses. I said that was woods a little bit well ago. Then you'll see a post office right there, and I'm saying to myself, I said that's what it dawned on me years ago when I first moved here. I said, if you have land, you can build your own city.
Hmm.
You know, I said, so in other words, basically, they took land, they bulldozed a tree for miles around, right? And now you got an industrial park over here, you got warehouses over here, you got a shopping mall right here, you got houses over here, townhouses over here. You know, you got a baseball park over here, which was all woods. You know, and then the community that lives there own that because you own a piece of it by called real estate. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you own a piece of land, land has value now. Why? Because you're living on a grid, on the infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? You
Peace
know?
to Queen Common Sense. Peace to
So
I'm Done Talking. Peace to Gally. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm saying your name. GALLYUN1. Peace to everybody who just came into the chat.
yeah, so therefore what I'm saying is this. When you have land, you know what I'm saying, you could develop it. Now imagine if you have land, right? And you have a host African state, right? And they're saying, you know something, we're gonna put up like $5 billion, right? And we'll say, well, now to the Negro mentality is, oh, give me $5 billion. But you say, look, okay, the basic infrastructure, right? The basic infrastructure, once that's built, right? You say, okay, well, how are you gonna repay that back? It's simple. Taxation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Property taxes, sales taxes, estate tax, all goods and services. You know what I'm saying? Gasoline tax, energy tax, cell phone tax. You know what I'm saying? Electric tax, taxation. Your tax base is how you fund your initial infrastructure, and also how much investment you bring in, and how many houses you bring, people you settle there. The more people that you settle there that can have jobs and pay taxes, everything, you can project growth. You know what I'm saying? That's what city planning is all about. Or we project that we're going to have here. Then it goes to what type of people you want here. Well, we want a certain amount of accountants. We want a certain amount of doctors. We want a certain amount of engineers. So you could be selective of who you bring in. Now, of course, you're going to bring in workers and everything, but you always got to make sure that you have business people, bankers, you know what I'm saying? Traders, you know what I'm saying? Wealthy people who can buy properties, real estate
Well,
developers, you know what I'm
that's
saying?
one of the things that when I was talking about think tanks earlier, I think the very first thing that we need to finance is a think tank. We need to have people who are experts in particular industries and fields as a part of our board of operations.
Right, right. We need that. What we need to do is the only thing about us right now is what's holding us back is we're all living across the country and across the world. You know what I'm saying? And we're
Hmm.
not like it when we form a think tank. Usually, people are in one city. You know what I'm saying? They say, okay, you go
Well,
form a
now
think tank.
because of technology, you really don't have to be.
Okay, you don't have to be now. What you have to do is, what we need is somebody to join the BAIO says, you know something. Matter of fact, the one sister that's in the group, right? She said she wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? But she was commenting on that. And I tell people all the time. I said, look, go for it. We
Do
tell
it.
people
What
do
did
it.
she want to do?
She wanted to form. She was what you talking about? Maybe we need some planning and stuff like that. I never got back
Yeah.
with her. You know,
Do
I
it.
said I
It
told
doesn't
her
have,
put
you
it
don't have to
together.
get back with her. Just do it. That's the thing about the BAIO. There's really no leaders there. You know, it's like you can jump in and you can do what's wrong. Like I'm gonna say this right now.
Hmm.
If you go to the BAIO Ning site and if you go to the photo section, if you're in America, if you're in a state inside of America, there's a logo for your state.
Yep.
Take that logo, download it, put it on whatever you want to. It's yours.
Hmm.
You can form you can form a local chapter, a state chapter in your whatever state that you're in, and go for it.
Yeah.
You don't
Well, we
need any
need.
approval from Kala as long as it's down with land, infrastructure, and nationhood. We cool.
It's another thing is this right here. This and people will say, okay, this is another question people ask. Like, well, we got all these problems in the interstate. Look, let me tell you something right here. You know, let's put it like this: the if the United States government can't solve the problems in Chicago, Detroit, and everything, the BAL is not going to do that. You know, what we're saying is this though: we need long term nationhood, and building in Africa is long term. We're gonna have to compete with the Chinese and all these other people on a global scale. Well, how are we gonna do that? We're gonna do that, but first saying that we need something outside of America. Because the bottom line is nobody gives a fuck about us. You know what I'm saying? But Baltimore is dying. It's
Let
dead.
me back up what you're saying. We are not into activism in America.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are getting into the BAIO thinking that we're going to be some community activist, then you're in the wrong organization.
We got plenty of people for that, you know?
You can
They
go to
want that.
plenty of organizations where people is marching and doing all of that shit. We are into land, infrastructure, nationhood, and an independent nation on the continent of our ancestors. That's what this whole thing is about. And we're very upfront with it. We're not hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
We're not going to spring it on you later.
Right.
Everything like
You
that.
know what time it is. So don't come into this organization and trying to turn this into some black activist organization, because that's not what it is.
Because the bottom line is we have all these black activist organizations and they're doing absolutely nothing. Why? Because they haven't come to the realization, the truth. You know what I'm saying? The truth is we need a nation of our own. You know what I'm saying? Once we have that sort of geopolitical power, then we can be in a position to help our people back in America. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we have no voice. We can't even bring investment into the inner cities. Yeah. Why? Because let's say if somebody is doing business with us on the continent and they want to build something, and we're going to have a lot of influence in African governments. Right now, we have no real say-so in Africa. Once we do build this state, we're going to be on the African Union. We're going to be in all these things right here. If you have companies coming from all over the world that want to get in Africa, we're going to also steer them back to America. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you guys want to process steel? Hey, we got an abandoned steel plant over in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? That'll bring our people. So that's how you do business. That's how everybody else do business. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. You think you're going to get anywhere just being inside the United States? Well, why can't we use a current African country? Because these African countries got to worry about their own people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, they got to feed their own people.
Thank you, Kala. Because this is something that me and you was talking about before we went live on the air. And I just wanted to express this, since we amongst family and we got, some reasonable, intelligent people in the chat room tonight.
Yeah.
And for anybody that's listening once this thing archives, without giving away too many details, I'll just say this. I'm going to speak very generally about this, because the big thing that we talk about when it comes to Negro stalling taxes is the whole land. Oh, well, you Africans ain't giving up no land. I said, well, like I said earlier, I guess the Chinese didn't get that memo.
Yeah, the Lebanese.
But, what I'll say is this. There's more than one way to skin a cat. You ever heard of that old saying?
Yep.
We got to step outside the box of the traditional one-dimensional thinking. And one of the things that I say, and this is something that I believe that can't even really be argued. When you and another party benefit from a relationship together, everything that enhances that relationship is just a given. Just a given. You don't have to really fight that much for the things that you claim you want. Now, if you want land on the continent, then guess what? You can't just have this mindset like the European that you're going to go over there and take shit from people. That's not what we're trying to do. We want to build with our brothers and sisters on the continent. And we want to engage in projects that we both benefit from. Where our presence over there is beneficial to them and their presence is beneficial to us. When you have a relationship like that, then land is not even an issue or a problem.
Because so much land is unreal. That's not a problem at all.
So why do people think that this is it's going to be hard getting land? And it's not hard at all. You know what? I want to ask a question to the people that's saying that. How much do you know? How many contacts do you have on the African continent?
Every time we look around.
Because I would imagine, I'm going to take a wild guess that you don't know shit about Africa.
They don't even know there's African Americans living there that own land over there. They don't know there's a growing community of African Americans on the continent doing business and everything. I tell them about my friend John Cashin, who owns Metro Rail, who builds monorails in Nigeria. Talk about Mr. Rosenthal, the African Bullion Bank in Angola. Soon, we're doing other projects and everything like that. We got people all over the continent. Got a brother down in South Africa who has a bank. You know what I'm saying? You got other African venture partners in Johannesburg. You got Eugene Jackson. Yeah. You got people that are African Americans that own cell phone companies in Tanzania and Kenya and Uganda and stuff like that. So people, African Americans,
this stuff is going on right now.
It's going on right now. So
and right here in Harlem, there's a brother who has a business called Serengeti Teas, where he gets all of his teas directly from the continent.
Yep.
We already have people right now that are engaging in trade with Africa. So this whole thing about it can't happen, it's already happening.
It's already happened. We're just putting it on a larger scale. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to get the black people saying this is part. One thing that it hasn't happened is we have never connected this to our liberation and our economic future. You know, it's always been okay, that's somebody in Africa. And then they go back to, well, what are we going to do about jobs? Well, we just told you that people are getting rich or building business on Africa and trade between Africa. Let me give you an example. Paul Kagame, president of Rwanda, outstanding job. You know what I'm saying? Built that country back from the ruin of genocide, you know? He basically is banning the import of secondhand clothes from America under the threat of tariffs. You know what I'm saying? He said, I don't care. We're going to process our own clothes and brands inside of Rwanda. Rwanda now has brands its own tea and coffee and ships them throughout the world. They don't just export raw coffee. They have brands, you know what I'm saying? Like packaged brands that they sell throughout the world now. You know what I'm saying? That's the way Africa's going right now. And you get it with coffees and everything. So there's a new Africa popping up, you know what I'm saying? That the West don't like, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, we have the growing cryptocurrency, you know what I'm saying? Peer-to-peer trading, which is going to be another investment thing of bringing capital to the continent, you know what I'm saying? That we don't have to use the fiat currency any much longer, you know what I'm saying? So there's all kinds of stuff going on and everything like that. And Africans see African Americans as a benefit. If you're a business person, you can do trade, you could buy stuff. Even if you don't own a business, what if? Let me give you an example. What if you're African American, and you'll say you own some people own restaurants like IHOPs, a franchise, whatever like that, you know, and you say, you know something, I own like 5 IHOPs. And I know several other people, black or white, you know what I'm saying? Whoever. This is another thing. You don't who you do business with is not my problem, as long as you're doing business. And you say, you know something? We give away so much. We have a budget for coffee in our IHOP restaurants, you know? Well, let's switch our branding to this Rwandan brand. And you go to Rwanda and say like this: we want to be, we want to buy coffee from you, but we want to be distributors of your coffee, not just for our internal business, right? Internal business, but also other restaurant. We want to market here in America. That's doing business.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's doing business. Now, why hasn't nobody thought
Now, why
on
is
that
stuff
level?
like this that you're talking about like sounding like Mandarin Chinese to these Negroes?
Because the bottom line is they want to think that not Claude Anderson and everything, but I have no idea why somebody like Claude Anderson never thought of that. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't know why Jason Black has never thought of that. Maybe these people aren't real business people. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what
I
to do.
don't know.
Why?
There seems to be, it's very strange to me that there's a black man on the planet Earth that's worth about almost $20 billion and nobody's talking to him here in
And
America.
no one even knows who he is. No, 20. He's like 30 billion. Illegal Dangote is building the world's largest oil refinery in Lagos. John Catcher said he goes. I hear the construction out there. Wake me up every morning. They're building the largest oil refinery in the world. You know what I'm saying? Illegal Dangote. You know that means Nigeria not only is going to be exporting gas and petroleum products. He's going to probably be worth, when it's all said and done, in another 5 years, worth more than Bill Gates.
Mm.
You know, and he basically is a Pan-Africanist, because if you go to Liko Dangote and say, we need cement works, he'll open up a factory. He gave Zambia $400 million, right here. He just goes there and says, okay, I'm going to build a factory. This is how Let me tell you how brotherhood works, right? And Pan-Africanism and everything. Aliko Dangote just simply went to Zimbabwe, Mugabe, and Zambia and said, I'm going to build this factory here, this, that, and the other thing. And they said, okay, this, that, and the other thing. So if he could be that bold to say, I'm going to build this, that here, you need a factory, you need cement and everything like that, say, I can build better quality, cheaper. I'm just going to go ahead and build it.
You know what
Okay.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
Carly? Remember at the end of Black Panther?
Mm-hmm.
We literally have a T'Challa right now that we can be communicating and dealing with, and nobody's taking advantage of it.
Right. No one knows. No one even knows what it's about. There's an African American brother, right? That started in 1978, right? Has an oil distribution company. I don't know if you know him, right? Oil distribution company, right? In Ohio, right? Throughout the Midwest and everything. He has oil trucks that takes oil from the refinery and delivers to the gas stations. He's worth for millions of dollars right here. This, that, and the other thing. No one knows who he is. You know what I'm saying? Every time somebody black is doing real business, we don't hear about him. You know what I'm saying? But we listen to these internet scammers and
That's
internet big
because,
mouths.
to get back to what I said before, we keep coming up with individual solutions to systemic problems. And the reason why we don't have the power that we need is because we're scattered. Our energy is scattered all over the place.
Right.
Nationhood would bring that energy together.
Because the bottom line is, when we do get this land, we're going to send invitations out to the top black businessmen in America. You know what I'm saying? Top black business. Not only that, but their connections. You know what I'm saying? You need people at top. Now, when you have a government that's backing what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That says yes, this ain't your thing. And you say, government saying, we're going to do this. We got the Chinese on board, we got the Koreans on board and everything. Those African American businessmen will flock there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even worried about that. That's not
I
even a
keep
part.
telling the story, and I think I spoke about it on that video that I did about the reverse transatlantic slave trade, where one of the presidents in Africa, his wife, hairdresser, became $1 billion, a billionaire, simply because he gave her a certain amount of land, and then she took that and flipped it and did this and that. It's like we are producing billionaires like crazy in Africa.
On the African continent. The telecommunication guy, a cell phone guy in Zimbabwe that Professor Davis was showing about, became a billionaire. He was introduced by Andrew Young, and he was Andrew Young's protege. And Andrew Young, this guy's a billionaire now, a Zimbabwean brother. So there's opportunity on the African continent that we want to be involved in. Not to say now, let me tell you something. The Afrikstan is just a base of operations. We want people all over the continent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the base. We
That's
need
the
a
base.
base.
We want a base. So, in other words, basically, if you have any problems, anything like that, you have a state. You know what I'm saying? A whole state that's like a special administration zone, a whole state that you can go to if you have trouble, anything like that. You have a counselor, whatever like that can help you out on the continent. So you ain't always running to the U.S. Embassy and all stuff like that. So nothing's compromised. That's the benefit of having our own state.
Now, let me ask you all a question in the chat room. You've heard this conversation go on for about 2 hours right now. Are we saying anything negative? Are we saying something that's so offensive that it requires as much hostility as we get? I mean, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no.
Are we making any sense?
People, you know what a lot of people is? Well, why haven't I heard Dr. Neely Fool say this? Because I don't have no idea what the BAIO saying it.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. I don't want to put down anybody that came before us because they only dealt with what they were dealing with at the time.
I agree.
What I say is this. I don't look at anybody like even Amos Wilson. Just because I respect Amos Wilson and I consider him like my unofficial mentor, I'm supposed to take what he gave us and build on it. Not just use his words like it's the goddamn Bible.
Yeah, like I said, black folks, we do that a lot. You understand? We do that with everything. And like I said, that was so beautiful about Blog Talk Radio and the internet. And let me tell you something. When I first met Minister Daoud, right? When I first met him, I was like, okay. He was like, okay. I guess he didn't really know what direction he was going to take, right? But he listened to a few of my shows, right? And he was like, oh, this guy Collins speaks out, because Warlord introduced us, right? His Collins speaks out the box, In other words, basically, I was speaking outside the box. I didn't speak okay, Marcus Garvey said this, but I disagree on this. I respectfully disagree about this, He said this, I respectfully disagree about this and the other thing, And so, therefore, I was able to say, okay, this is what we need. Boom, boom, boom. And Mrs. Daoud changed his whole thing because he didn't know how to approach. Because people in his chat room talking about, well, you're straying away from the strict teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I'm like, look, man, you love the Elijah Muhammad, but Elijah Muhammad is not here in 2010. This is a whole new world. We're a whole new ball game.
I use the example of Jimi Hendrix used to say, "You're living in the past." If Jimi Hendrix was to come back right now and he heard people still playing Purple Haze, he would be disappointed.
People get in this time war. Oh, someone said this. We can't do it like that because he didn't exactly say it like this. That's bondage right there. You know what I'm saying?
You suppose, first of all, if you go to school, these people were teachers. If my teacher taught me something in school, I'm supposed to take those teachings and go and build and expand upon what I was taught.
And learn.
Not worship the teacher.
That's what universal knowledge is about. That's what university. That's why it's important that we have really good education in university. And I don't think we have that in our black universities because everybody regurgitates the same thing year after year, and you don't see any change.
Well, I
You know what I'm
think the
saying?
very first thing that we need to do is it has to be, in order for you to think, it's just like anything else. Like I said, if you have a society and there's no buildings, and you have no architects, you can't complain because no buildings are being
Right.
built. And the same thing applies to thinking. We have to
Mm-hmm.
teach people how to think, and we have to teach people how to listen. We have to teach critical thinking skills, because one of my biggest problems is we are unfocused a lot, and we
Mm-hmm.
get easily distracted by shit instead of being. If you notice me, I'm narrow and focused like a laser
Mm-hmm.
on land, infrastructure, nationhood. So
That's
I
the
don't
answer.
really get caught up in a lot of the other stuff. I don't get caught up in personal choice issues. I don't get caught up in who's a coon and who's, because that's irrelevant. Because
Irrelevant.
if we keep talking about that dumb shit, what is going? All right, I said this before, and this is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Let's say I'm
Mm-hmm.
walking down the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I tap somebody on the shoulder and I say, excuse me, do you have the time? But before you tell me, are you cheating on your wife?
Yeah.
Are you vegan?
It's irrelevant.
Why does that fucking matter? What I want to know is what the time is. That dude could be a child molester or a murderer. If his watch says 2:30, it's fucking 2:30.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
That's
Yep.
all I'm concerned
Right.
about.
Yep.
We get so
Yep. Yep.
caught up in judging the messenger or judging what's coming from. It's like this whole thing recently. And
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind, I'm totally objective in this because I don't know about these modern musicians or whatever. I don't even
Right.
listen to. But
Mm-hmm.
this guy, Childish Gambino,
Yeah.
comes
I still
out with a
haven't got.
video.
Yeah.
He comes out with a video, and what he's addressing in the video is the subject of police brutality against black folks. That's the subject of the video.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck do I care about his interracial relationship? The thing is, this guy doesn't have to talk about this stuff.
Right.
He's making a lot of money. He's in the mainstream. He's got that mainstream universal appeal money. If
Mm-hmm.
anything, by him addressing police brutality, it's actually hurting his brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So give the guy credit for at least addressing it. It doesn't mean you got to buy his album. It doesn't mean that you got to support his interracial relationship. None of that shit matters.
Nope. 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 Just that he put out.
Because
Thing.
if you keep creating this situation where somebody steps up to the plate to defend you,
Mm-hmm.
and then your main thing is, oh, nigga, shut the fuck up because you doing this and that and whatever. Then what you're doing is you're creating an environment where nobody's going to step up to defend you
And
because they're
that's
going to be
exactly what's happening.
afraid that they're going to be attacked.
That's exactly what's
And that's
happening.
what's going on right now. That's why I said you gotta be focused and stop
Mm-hmm.
being distracted by bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not, I'm not no Childish Gambino fan. I don't even know the dude.
Right.
I'm just saying from that perspective, you cannot keep jumping up to attack people whose interests who say that they have an interest that you fall into, where your interests are mutual.
Right. Right. The bottom line, you take that
Take
and
it.
you
What's
take
the
it and use
problem
it.
with
You know what I'm saying?
taking it?
I do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? I do it all the time. And somebody saying something that I agree with, hey, look what I say. I don't discard nobody. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I'll take Claude Anderson. Yeah, I'll take Jason Black, whoever.
If you say
Mark
something
Johnson.
that's correct, I'll support it. Just
Yeah,
like
you say something.
earlier in the conversation, dude said that we was kind of agreeing with Yvette Carno, and I didn't know what he was talking about. And he said, well, she said something about powernomics not working. I said, oh, okay, well, on that we agree.
That we agree. I don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Don't mean I like Yvette or
Yeah, it
whatever
don't
like
mean that
that.
I like her. It don't
You know,
mean that I don't think that she's still not an idiot.
you know what I'm saying?
But if
Bottom
she
line,
says something factually and it's correct and it falls in line with the truth,
what I
then
don't
you
get is
acknowledge the truth. And just because you acknowledge the truth of what somebody is saying, it doesn't mean that you are supporting them, that you're
right.
co-signing them.
Mm-hmm. Somebody just said the truth. You know what I'm saying? I can never understand that. Somebody will say, well, such and such said this or that. Well, I don't agree with him. He's a Muslim. Was he
Yeah,
right?
what does it? That's come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? He's a Christian.
That's some dumb shit.
I'm saying, I'm like, oh, look. So in other words, the fact that they did this, boom, don't matter to you. Well, see, the bottom line, and you know something? I think we're the only group of people that suffer that because I think it has something to do with slavery. You know, black, and then they those same type of people can easily, you've seen them, they'll intimidate somebody into backing down of what they said. You know, this so you support such and such. Oh, you're the other side, and you'll be like, oh well, I guess I what I meant was no, just say what you meant. Yo, look, I agree with this person said. That don't mean I support them or their lifestyle, or whatever like that. But what they said was the truth. You know what I'm saying? They
Let
said the
me give you
truth.
another example, Carla. This is something that you've seen from my page. I'm going to go to my Facebook page. I had a series on my page called "Are You Uncompromising or a Dumbass?"
Mm-hmm.
And I did this because it was somebody that you know of who I was getting at.
Yeah.
But this is what I said. This was part one of my series, and I hope everybody in the chat room can hear this. And I want you to give an answer. Just type in A, type in
Oh yeah, I
B,
remember this.
or type in C when you hear this. What I give you, okay? Do that in the chat room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Scenario: You are arrested for a crime you didn't commit.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
At your trial, your defense team calls a witness to the stand to corroborate your alibi and prove you were not at the scene at the time of the crime. The witness is an effeminate, openly homosexual black male. Do you A, jump up and yell, "Objection, Your Honor. I want the testimony of this witness stricken from the record because I do not support homosexuality. Be found guilty of the crime and do football numbers in jail, but remain principled in your anti-homosexual stance." That's A. B, have your lawyers tell the judge to treat this person as a hostile witness. Or C, shut the fuck up and allow the testimony of the witness to set your black ass free. Could anybody type A, B, or C in the chat room and tell me which one you would go for? What's your
Freaking sick.
option?
Only an idiot would say A. That's the whole thing. We have these people that are way too much. The bottom line, you know what the problem is? Like you said, vague and abstraction. You know what I'm saying? If you
Thank you.
basically, it
See,
takes
this
out.
is why I love my guys. I love my followers because everybody has common fucking sense.
Check this out. If you're dealing with the world, right? You're dealing with the world. I'll give you a better example, right? Such and such, your BAIO needs a team of engineers, right? Team engineers. Okay, our think tank has said, okay, this engineering company is fine for the job, to work over in the Afrikstan, right? Now, one of the black men is in an interracial marriage, right?
Oh, wait.
Now,
Don't give that example because you're going to step on the one I was just getting ready to give.
yeah,
Hold on a
yeah.
second. Hold that thought on that one. I'm going to give you all another one. This goes with what Kala was just getting ready to say. And this is part two of my series on Facebook. Are you uncompromising or a dumbass? This is the scenario. You are developing the infrastructure of your new nation on unoccupied land with your former enclave nation builders. So much excitement about the possibilities is spread through the people on a grassroots level that you've managed to capture the excitement of the top black architectural engineer in the world. He is excited at the prospect of building your airport and seaport utilizing the latest advanced technology. This would make your nation's airport and seaport the best and most advanced in the world to date. The engineer is also involved in an interracial relationship. Do you A, reject and refuse to interview or hire the engineer because you are against interracial relationships? B, pick another engineer with a resume nowhere in the ballpark of experience, references, accolades, resources, connections, or professionalism, but he has a black wife? Or C, commission him for the job and have the best airport and seaport in the world? Which one would you pick, A, B, or C?
These are questions that have to be asked. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the leadership and everything like that, when people making decisions, you know what I'm saying?
If you need me to read them again, let me know. But that's what those are the choices: A, B, or C. Which one do you pick? Seems like everybody's picking C tonight.
Yeah. So the whole thing is what we're trying to do is break black people out of the the so-called, you know what I'm saying, like that. You like this, use common sense. I'm not telling anybody to support gays or interracial marriage. That's not it. That's irrelevant when you start talking about something tangible and real.
Right.
When you start talking about something tangible and real, you know what I'm saying? It's all about professionalism. You know what I'm saying? I work in a field, a healthcare field. I come across all kinds of people. I come across black women that date white guys. You know what I'm saying? I come across gay people. You know what I'm saying? I come across this, that, and the other thing. And the bottom line is I get work done. Why? Because it's professionalism. You know, a lot of our people has a problem in a lot of conscious community and national community. They're not in the professional world. You know what I'm saying?
No,
We're not
because in the professional world, actually, at a job, you work with people that you don't like every day.
every day. You got to put that face on. You got to
Yeah.
stuff like that. This, that, and the other thing. This, that, and the other thing. And the bottom line is you have to get work. And then after a while, your views sort of change. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, hey, well, okay, such as in this lifestyle right here, whatever like that. But the bottom line is he does the work. He does this, that, and the other thing. He gets the job done and everything. And he's a joy to be around and everything like that.
Somebody asked me if I'm involved. They asked me if I'm involved in an interracial relationship, can I be a part of your nation? And I said, well, my question to you is, what do you do? Like, what would you be contributing and bringing to the nation? Let's say if you're an engineer or an architect, or you're bringing a high level skill to the nation. Yeah, because
Of course you are.
I'm not
Of course you
supporting
are.
your interracial relationship. Your interracial relationship is irrelevant to me.
Right.
That's your
Right.
business.
Now, if
But
you're
the
just
thing is,
somebody,
now, if you want me to, if you're saying that I was gonna support first of all, I don't even know what that means. Support your interracial relationship. I don't know what that means. If you're coming into a nation, what skills are you bringing to that nation?
mm-hmm.
That's all I'm
that's the
concerned about. And
that's
if
that's
you
the
got
that's the
somebody who's
important
an
thing.
engineer and can help build up our infrastructure,
And you
but
know
he
something?
happens to be involved with a white woman, I could give two shits about that.
You know why I changed my opinion? Because I used to think like that, but you know why I changed my opinion? When I used to do Uber a couple of years ago, right? I met so many young brothers who were engineers. You know what I'm saying? Young brothers who were engineers, right? But I noticed something, right? And I was talking to them I was talking about Africa and stuff like this. They said, yeah, I would love to go over there and build. And I said, yeah, that's what we do at the BAIO. But I noticed that a lot of those guys, you know, people don't take this the wrong way. Those guys swing in different circles than the average brother. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a high probability that you might have a guy that's dated a Chinese girl or stuff
Yeah,
like that. You know, that's just the world we
definitely.
live in. That's just the world we live in. Now, that's something we say long term. No, we want the black family to be the basis of a nation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But at the same time, look, the bottom line is this: when you talk about a nation, you got to take who you can take. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and
If
also
somebody,
what you got to look at it this way too is that engineer will help be building up infrastructure that's going to support that black family that you want so badly.
that's what I'm saying. You know, that the people who are going to benefit the most are going to be that black couple that come over. You know what I'm saying? Because most likely the black couple is going to be working class. You know, people this and the other thing. They say Bottom line is this though. Let me give you an example. America benefits from everybody, whether you gay, straight, mixed, everything
Hmm.
like that. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with England.
They'll take
England,
your money and your taxes.
they'll take your money and your labor, your skills and everything and build this shit up. You know what I'm saying? So we have to think like that too in a way. You
Oh
know what I'm
shit,
saying?
Jonathan's here.
I'm say, hey John, what's going on, brother?
Jonathan's here. Supreme Sabaz says all these uncompromising Negroes deal with white folks every day. You're 100% right. That's why if y'all check my videos, I said I had a video called "The Myth of the Uncompromising Negro"
Yeah,
because it's a myth. You
I
got
seen it.
niggas like my big thing with me is like, and what made me realize that we have these people that there really is no uncompromising Negroes is everything that they claim they're not going to go for in their supposed nation, they dealing with in this nation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like they have this
Mm-hmm.
hard line against homosexual. Oh, I'm against homosexual. And what are they doing here in America? They
Mm-hmm.
probably working with a homosexual. They probably got a homosexual sitting right next to them at their job, right in their cubicle, and they ain't doing a goddamn thing about it. But
Mm-hmm.
yet, you want to have some hard line with what you ain't going to deal with on something that we can potentially have? Come on, man. Stop bullshitting.
Mm-hmm.
You're bullshitting.
Bottom line, instead of you focusing on the family, building your family, and bring your people over, tell your sons and daughters to go over there, so we always have a real black family, black nation, and
Mm-hmm.
everything. You want to fuck about one out of a million people that might be coming
Yeah,
over. You know
the
what I'm saying?
homosexual community makes up about 4% of the population.
You know what I'm saying?
I
One out
think
of a billion people.
at its height, maybe 6% at
You know
its
what I'm saying?
height.
So it's the bottom line. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. No, that's not going to be a fact. You worry about building our nation, our culture, and everything like that. You don't worry about that. Because let me give you an example. The British, right? England. They got everybody. They're benefited so much from the Chinese mind, the Pakistani mind in England, and everything like that. They built a world empire, sucking the brain power and the manpower of every person on this freaking planet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line, and also people ask the question, well, will you have? This is another thing kills me. Will you have white or Chinese investment in the country? What the fuck do you think? I'm saying the bottom line is this: you
Oh
want that
God, we got this
check this out,
here.
you want that nice hotel built on the ocean front, right? You want that nice office complex and all the stuff like that right here. Do black people own the Marriott and all these other hotels? Rwanda, matter of fact, the before the planned city in the center of Kigali is built, do you know all the major hotel chains already bought up the land in Kigali? Already bought.
Mm.
All the main hotels in the world are going to be in Kigali. Why? Because they're anticipating a business boom like you've never seen.
And
You know what I'm saying?
in the chat room, I'm done talking. Let me put it to you like this. Um, do white people reject our labor
No.
because we black?
Yeah.
Think about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they really that hardcore racist and discriminate, how come they don't just fire every black person that works for them?
Check this out. I moved to Virginia, right? And I thought, oh, I'm living in a redneck state. I see stone cold rednecks with rebel flags in their trucks, right? But guess what? They got 5 or 6 blacks and Mexicans in the back of the truck going to do
That's
work.
right. Because you know
You
what?
know?
They need that work done. And they could give a shit about anybody who's doing it. As long as you're willing to do it, hey, I'll hire you.
I said, so back until we get to that point, then you see now. Then when people listen to this, now I can see a nation being built. You know what I'm saying? Yes. You know what I'm saying? If we need a contractor, whatever like that, he's doing something that we are short of, that white boy, whoever he is going to get that contract. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm saying? That means he's
Right.
going to be there forever. But the bottom line, he's going to transfer skills over to our people. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you learn. You know what I'm saying?
Mufasa,
Skill.
you're 100% correct. He said when you enlist to the military, they don't ask what race you're dating.
That's what it is. Because you need that, or you need skills. You need, and I know it's a lot of time it's hard for people to stomach what we're saying, but this is the reality after Holip and I listen, going over this for years. You know what I'm saying? If now, get this. Now, if we really had these black power, this, that, and the other, if they were really down for this, we wouldn't even have this conversation. You know what I'm saying?
And you know
But what
what,
would,
Carla? I just realized something too. The reason why we don't fear white people and we don't fear Chinese and we don't fear anyone else, and I want y'all to really peep this because this is deep. The reason why we don't fear them is because we have an agenda.
yeah.
If you notice, the people that don't have an agenda, they are terrified of any
Oh, yeah.
involvement with white people.
Because they think white people are going to take
Terrified
it
of
over.
any, yeah, they terrified of any involvement with Chinese or anybody else. Why? Because they don't know what the fuck. They don't have an agenda. They don't have a
Yeah.
vision. So they're
They have a
afraid the white
vision.
person is going to come in and take over. Why? Because they don't have no goal. They don't have no agenda. They don't know. They don't have any end game to what they're doing.
Our end game is a black state, Afrikstan,
Yeah.
black African
When
state.
you have an end
Only
game like we do, you're not
Mhm.
afraid of other races of people because you have an agenda. Nobody's going to take you off your agenda.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have no agenda, then the white man is Thanos.
Mm-hmm. You
Got
think
the Infinity Gauntlet.
he's gonna come over there and disrupt shit
Yeah, he's gonna
and
snap
stuff like
his
that.
fingers, and then you're gonna be dead.
He'll be dead and everything's gonna fall apart and everything. The bottom line is this: the PL, we know what we want, we know what we're gonna do and everything, and also the host African country, they are absolutely looking forward to the idea of black people with knowledge and skills from the West
That's
coming
right.
there and building. You know what I'm saying? That they want to Dubai. You know what I'm saying? They look at Dubai.
That's
Dubai.
right.
Now, what if Dubai said we only want Arabs to come here? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Nobody does that.
You know what I'm saying? We know for a fact of the matter is in this day and time, if when you talk about we need engineers and everything, the last thing I'm gonna say is We only want only black. And now, will people like
You can
Dangote
only
have?
come over. You better not have no Chinese girl or white girl as your girlfriend because we won't accept you as an engineer. Get the fuck out of here.
We need people to come over. And all of that, look at Dangote. You know what I'm saying? Dangote comes and he's a black-owned business area. He comes over and everything, but he puts millions of dollars up and say, "Boom, this is what I want to do." But you know something? Not even Dangote. Dangote outsourced. A lot of his partners are Indian. People don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the contractors and stuff like that he contracts are Indian and Pakistanis. You know, and some British. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom
You
line,
know what
it
though?
still has Dangote's name on it.
I'm glad you mentioned outsourcing because this I'm gonna give you a perfect example of why it's important where your loyalties lie. Let's say that if you consider yourself an American, then the last thing you love is outsourcing. You don't want outsourcing because you don't want those jobs to go to anybody outside of the country. But let's say you're an African nationalist, and let's say I'm going to just use let's use Nigeria. I do what the Indians do in India. I set up and train the local Nigerian people on how to answer these telephones so that they can become what do they call it? Yeah,
ITC.
telecommunications, or like there'll be a customer service in Nigeria. Like, you know how when you call these companies and you don't get nobody in America, it goes overseas. Now let's say we set that up in Nigeria. Do you know that we would be creating a middle class in Nigeria? Outsourcing would actually benefit us.
Yeah, outsourcing to Nigeria, to Rwanda. That's another
Rwanda.
outsourcing
We can
plan.
name it. We can take all of these African countries where they don't have a good economy, and we can take the local people and train them to answer these phones. That alone.
ITC.
That alone.
Rwanda wants to be the ITC capital of the African continent. That's what
Right.
it's building its economy for. You know,
So
say everything will
you
flow
see
to
what I
Rwanda.
mean when I say that's where your loyalties lie? Because if you're an American, then no, that's unacceptable to you for you to have jobs transported overseas. But if you have a stake in Africa, then outsourcing is actually going to help your 401k. Can somebody tell me? Now I want to know, and I'm not trying to brag. I know Kyle ain't trying to brag. Are y'all hearing this conversation anywhere besides here? Please tell me. The things that we're talking about right now, are you hearing this anywhere? Are you hearing this on, well, you know what, I ain't going to run down the names. You know the black talking heads. Are you hearing this conversation there?
No
Or are
one's
you
having
hearing
this
a bunch of
conversation.
misery merchant bullshit?
They're talking about the celebrities and all this kind of stuff like that. How we're getting our asses kicked and everything like that. I'm so sick of it. Bottom line is this: this is something we can do. You know what I'm saying? This is something we can do and we will do. You know what I'm saying? Because the ducks are lining up in a row right now for us. You know, once we get that green light, that firm green light, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? And the only thing we really need is a strong support of a core group of people. Say yes, let's get this done. You know, but we keep getting this blowback from Negroes. Oh no, you can't do this, can't do that. So in other words, if you talk about having a state on the African continent, you know, a state where the main source of revenue will be logistics. You know, Africa right now wants to manufacture goods and sell it in America, right? Wouldn't we benefit from being the trading and the logistics, the shipping hub? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
See, this is the thing that how do you think, if you go to eBay, do you notice that the Chinese are basically ruling eBay? You know how? Because they get their goods directly from China.
Yep. Anything they need. Anything they need. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something right here, right? And people will say this, right? Say this, right? And I'm gonna get people excited when I say this. Right? I'm one of several sites on WhatsApp app, right? I'm in this one gold miners group, right? And there's a lot of Chinese, and I'm watching business deals go down every day, which Chinese are selling and auctioning off gold mining equipment, right? And Africans are buying them. So all this is going on, gold and diamond mining equipment and stuff like that. Chinese make this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And so you can go to China, Alibaba in China, and get anything. So what about it? Look, the bottom line is this: it's manufacturing is a lagging. You know what I'm saying? In other words, basically, since we have the U.S. currency, you know what I'm saying, that we benefit. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to make manufacturing goods. We make our money based on the goods that we take those tools and create the finished product. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
therefore, if you need mining equipment, bulldozers, everything like that, you got them right there in China. You know what I'm
And you
saying?
know how we can finance those things? Through working on the continent. Because when
Yep.
we work, what do you do when you're at a job? They usually have you open up a 401k.
Yeah.
So a
And
portion
that,
of your money is going to be going toward these corporations that we control, that build these services, that build the materials. So
hedge
it's a
funds.
circular thing. And this can only happen if we have our own nation.
Yeah, if you have your own financial system, you know what I'm saying, with your own stock exchange, your own commodities exchange, your own currency, your own cryptocurrency, your own bullion bank. We already have a bullion bank established, and we basically take it up a notch with gold and the natural resource bank that we have in Angola and all the stuff like that, and hedge funds, and put the money in the hedge funds. You could basically fund your own corporations and all stuff like that, and say,
Hmm.
well, geez, people always ask, well, how do you generate? So, first of all, every time that you have money in the bank, right? Business transaction, everything like that, your government makes money off the interest that the stuff makes. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
if you have billions of dollars worth of revenue flowing through your economy and everything, like, the government makes money off it, the interest. You know what I'm saying? The interest in the transaction. Not only that, taxing imports. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Taxing all these things, estate tax, property tax, everything. And people say, well, geez, that makes sense. Well, how do you think you're going to fund the nation? You know what I'm saying? You think you're not going to have to pay taxes? Of course you're going to pay taxes. You're going to
Yeah,
pay taxes on
paying
toll
taxes
roads.
now.
You pay taxes on toll roads. You pay taxes everywhere you go. You pay tax. You pay 35 cents a gallon on gas. You know what I'm saying? Black people in America, everybody think of how much money we spend. We contribute to the tax base with gas. We buy gas every day. You know.
And one of the points that I've always made is that taxes is not the problem. The problem is people don't have control of what their tax money is going to.
We don't have any
Because
say
you
so.
have they're telling you that you can't have health care. Your taxes can't take care of your health care where you can just go to the hospital because you're sick and not have to have your house taken from you.
Check this
But there's enough money to go to war in some
bottom line,
overseas country
and
to the
that's
tune
another
of
thing. That's another.
trillions of dollars. See,
Check this out.
that's the thing, the problem that people have with taxes. It's not taxes as a problem with self. We're not living in a society that's fair. A
Yeah,
society that's run by people that know what they're doing.
check this out. Imagine a country that basically, first of all, in a host African country, we don't have to spend a whole lot of money on military. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on military. That's money for healthcare, education, all these other things. You know what I'm saying? All these things, transportation system. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? All these things. We look. The bottom line is the bottom line is we don't have to. If we want to build a state, you know what I'm saying, the intelligentsia, the think tank, could figure it all out. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Figure it all out. We don't have to worry about, something. People, because that's the one thing people always say, well, how are you going to build this nation? How are you going to fund it? Same way that if you see a new city being built, you know what I'm saying, they have a municipal bond. The initial municipal bond pays for everything, first off. And then they pay the bond back through tax revenue. You know what I'm saying? Property tax. When they sell a house to an individual, they sell a house, money, land to a developer and everything, and they charge businesses taxes and everything that pays the bond back. When the bond is paid back, then the city say, you know something, now we can borrow more money, you know, and
Hmm.
they basically do it like that. It's simple stuff that the modern world, the whole thing is this: modernization. You know what I'm saying? In the modern world, a modern nation is easier to build than a third world nation. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? A modern society solves all these problems. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if the people are basically generating wealth through jobs. If you everybody can give everybody jobs, everybody got transportation, healthcare, education, all the basic things and everything. They naturally generate the sort of initial wealth that government uses to project further wealth. You know what I'm saying? They can say, like, let me give you an example. The Chinese, when they go loan people money, the reason why they loan Angola so much money and all these countries money, because they see the potential of what they're going to do with the money. You know what I'm saying? They see they're building schools. Okay, schools mean you're going to have an educated. Rwanda was a good bet because they took the money and they basically made sure everybody got a good education. Good education means that it will attract businesses to the country.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses means that a certain level of revenue is going to be flowing through there. So what people do is hedge their bet on the Rwanda Stock Exchange that, okay, in 5 years, man, kids are going to be graduating from college. We see all these companies going to come here and everything. They're very creative people. We better get in on this. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, like I said, if you have a country like we're trying to build where people are pretty much already basically educated. So these third world countries had to start with people, even adults being illiterate. You know what I'm saying? And they had to, people had to go from subsistence level and you had to train them how to live in a modern world. I mean, in other words, basically, if you have an urbanized population where everybody has electricity, that means they're consuming electricity. They're going to supermarkets. That means they're going to have modern supermarkets. Modern supermarkets means you're going to need modern food processing plants. You know what I'm saying? It's a multiplier effect. So therefore, what that does is they say, okay, well, geez, we can project that they're going to have the city's going to grow to this many people. And if you have this many people with this amount of income right here, per capita income, man, that's going to be a cash cow. Then, because for years I was wondering, how is it that these companies are investing, taking a risk like that? Why? Because they did their homework. Now, if you build a country where we're bringing only the skilled labor over, we're building our best and brightest and everything. We have our own bankers and everything like that, right? That's going to be a cash cow for any investor. Like, why? Because if you look at Black America right now, we're $1.2 trillion. We consume everything,
Mm-hmm.
and all you basically have to do is transfer that to your own freaking state.
That's
You
it.
know, you know.
That's it. And the funny thing about it is, you don't have to, like, everybody keeps thinking that we're going to drag you to Africa. Listen, how about taking a small portion of your money and putting it toward nationhood? If you can
Or
spend, how much do cigarettes cost?
yeah, like $4 a pack or something like that.
Well,
Yeah,
in New
four
York, I
bucks a
think
pack.
it's more.
Oh yeah, down here it's like $4 a pack, I believe. And
What is
check
it
this
in
out
New
now.
York? Like 12 or 14? I don't
Yeah,
know. I
something like
don't
last
smoke.
last time I heard it was like $8.
Yeah, I don't smoke.
Last time, yeah,
But
last time I heard it was $18. I mean, it's gonna be like $7. But check this out. Now, if you have let's say, okay, let's say somebody says, something, I don't know if I want to go there. But what if like the Jewish people do, right? The Jewish people do. What if I got a stock account, right? I got a 401k, right?
mhm.
Will I be able to move some of my retirement money and invest in mutual funds from the Afrikstan? Will I be able to invest in bonds? Because we're floating bonds, municipal bonds, insurance bonds, and all stuff like that. Oh, sure. They'll say, what if I want to invest in this industry over here, IT, technology, and everything? Oh, yeah, this company over here just said they're going to invest it. We're going to require a certain amount of the stock to be IPO'd on our stock exchange. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to, like in Kenya, they have a thing where 30% of all investment has to go to Kenyans. Kenya will give Kenyans a chance to own stock. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We can do all kinds of stuff like that. You can only do that when you are in control. You're setting the policy.
Mhm.
You're setting the policy. You say, okay, and it has another beauty part about this. Let's say if we have the National Afrikstan Corporation, right? Which would be first and foremost a corporation. What I suggest is a corporation that owns most of the major businesses. Then we eventually sell it off to our own investors and everything to run it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What if you say, okay, we want to give this company a contract to build, let's say, fiber optics, right? But before we do that, right? Before we do that, we want to own 30% of that corporation, right? Now, that corporation's stock, right? If he wins the bid, his stocks will jump up. Now, our investors will already know that stock will jump up because he's going to get the bid, right? And so
Right.
that creates opportunity right there. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be like, okay, well, Jesus, we can split the shares, whatever like that, or hold them. You know what I'm saying? Because we have 30%. Now, if another corporation comes and says, okay, I'm going to build a fiber optics, but I don't want to, we don't want to give any shares to the locals, whatever like that. Guess what? You don't get the contract.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
There's all kinds of things you can do.
Exactly.
I look at countries like Singapore and Malaysia and all these countries and everything. The reason why Africans don't do that, because this is what happens. Is people will say right now, well, why does it happen in Africa? Because it's simple. Traditionally in Africa, how you get things done is you give a suitcase or envelope to some corrupt president and you can get whatever you want. See, we're coming over here and we're not with that mentality. We come with a mentality that we're here to win collectively. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, you ain't going to be able to give a suitcase to one of our officials and bypass our laws and stuff like that. We have policy set in place. You want a contract here, this is the way it's going to be. And
This
the bottom
is
line,
this is the reason why, like I said, I told y'all before, like I had sent y'all a message and I said, I don't know what I would do if I didn't have y'all brothers.
Yeah.
I really
Same
don't.
here, man. Same here, man. I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, because the thing about it is I'm just tired. I don't know how these people can listen to these black talking heads and hear them talk about how miserable things are and how you can't win. The white man is this and the white, and like for 24 hours, 7 days out of the week, 306. I don't know how you can deal with that. When I listen to y'all, we talk about stuff like this conversation that me and you is having right now. We have this all the time in the BAIO. We're talking about possibilities. We're talking about the future, talking about a vision. This is the type of stuff that inspires people. It makes people want to be involved. I don't know how people want to be involved. And why do I want to finance some documentary about race war telling me, oh, you can't beat the white man? So give me $25 so I can tell you why you can't beat the white man.
And then interview the same clowns that you say you can't beat.
Yeah. I'm gonna interview you, and so I can have a bunch of different opinions telling you, oh, the white man is unbeatable. Can't beat him. No matter where you go, he gonna take over your shit. This is what you are inspired by. This is what our young people are gonna come out of school and want to participate in. Compare that to participating in a nation.
Yeah.
Where you can because the nation provides the infrastructure for you to take all of your talent in your society and put it into that nation. Everybody can get in where they fit in.
No, nobody's saying no. If they say no because you don't have a good idea or your idea is not practical, probable or practical, if you have an idea and whatever like that can work or not, you will have yes. That's what other races have. They have they don't know defeat. Oh, we don't have this. It won't be a big deal saying somebody that's a millionaire in our nation. Why?
Yeah,
Because it'd be like, okay,
all workers will be millionaires.
You know what I'm saying? Millionaires will be popping up every day. You know what I'm saying? We have new millionaires every day. Why? Because the wealth and the stuff will flow through our hands, through our banks. So we have to finance our own people for businesses and industries and stuff like that after they're trained and properly vetted and stuff like that.
Man, I know me personally, I can only imagine how the young people feel. But me personally, I can't be involved in misery merchanthood. I can't just keep talking about and sitting back and because as a man, and I can't speak for a woman, so I speak as a man. As a man, men don't complain.
Men do. You know what
If
I'm
there's a
saying?
problem, a man goes out there and says, all right, this is what I have to do to solve the problem.
Yeah, we don't sit back and we're becoming like women in this country. That's what the problem is. The black man's like a woman. Oh man, the white man, that's so embarrassing. You're getting up there. The white man is not your husband. You know what I'm saying? He's not your freaking
For some
husband.
of them, they are.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, we need this. We have racism. This saying you sound like a friggin' like a John Lewis, man. God,
you see what Jonathan typed? He said someone told him that he has to work on himself and his family before they can start a nation. I think he already did that.
Yeah, I think he already did that. He got a
I
family.
think he's got that covered.
You know what I'm saying? All these stupid Negro
Oh
stalling.
boy, Nick,
And the
that's all it is. Stalling tactics.
checks out. And the bottom line is the nation is for its family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when his daughters raise their RBG flag, where they know that that's just a vague abstraction that represents territory or land,
Hmm.
stuff like that, something that we control. That when you come there and everything like that, something I want white Americans to come there and visit. It's not come there. It's not like I did that show about safari. You ain't.
Hmm.
This is a different safari. This is African civilization. If you
No,
want a
I
safari,
have absolutely no problem with any race coming there. You know why? Because the businesses are going to be all hours.
yeah,
The
everything.
hotels are going to be all hours. The transport, every dime that they spend is going to go toward our economy. Why would I
Everything,
not want you to be there?
or
Like I
or,
said,
or one way or the
are
other.
white people rejecting black people spending their money in America?
Nope. And not
Are they
only
that
that,
racist where they going, you know what, that's a black dollar? I don't want that.
check this out. Let's say we have a hotel there that's not owned by black. I guarantee you, all you know what it takes to run a hotel, the procurement department, the stuff
Hmm.
they got to order, it's going to come from local businesses, local industries, local fish markets, local meat markets, local what are canneries and everything.
Hmm.
So one way or the other, we're going to benefit from you being there. You know what
Oh,
I'm
it's
saying?
gonna be. I'm gonna tell you one thing. It's gonna be very hard for there to be a non-black business in Afrikstan.
Oh yeah,
Boy,
yeah. It's gonna be you're gonna give so much back.
yeah.
It's gonna be so much back. In other words, you're
You
gonna be
might
like,
say it's not worth it. It might not be worth it to be here.
you're gonna be outsourcing a lot of your business to us and a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna
Hmm.
come in and set up your own distribution and
No,
all the stuff like that. Hell
no,
no. The
that's not gonna
distribution.
happen. But the reason why that's not gonna happen, Kala, is because you got brothers and sisters who have an agenda.
Yeah,
You're not gonna be able to play that bullshit on us.
and we got people on the continent. You know what I'm saying? You got people on the continent. Oh, you need suppliers of this? Oh, we got that right here in Zimbabwe.
Yep.
Okay, now we can supply you. Okay, he can supply you with corn. Oh yeah, we got a guy that makes corn. Right, this such and such corn company,
Hmm.
such and such company right here. Such as apple orchard right here. He goes, a winery. We got black-owned South African wineries and winemaking in South Africa. They can put that on your wine list. Everything is going to benefit because you can set the guidelines to what you want to do when you have power.
And
You
I
know what I'm
can't
saying?
wait for that person who had the doubts about Afrikstan. Once everything is established and once everything is in place and things is up and running, they're gonna come over and they're gonna visit, and they're gonna go, "What the hell was I thinking?"
Man, I'm thinking the bottom line because the America's on your brain.
Right?
You got the white man on your brain disease. White man on the brain disease, and you're just thinking about, oh well, this is all we know. They said no, that's all you want to know. You know what I'm saying? You want to know.
Hmm.
We've been talking about this for years, and now it's time for just to make this happen. And slowly but surely it is, man. Because like I said, one thing good about it is every time I talk to Africans and everything like that, the people I talk to, that none of them ever say no.
Hmm.
All they tell me is, "What the hell are y'all waiting for?" I said, "Well, the bottom
Yeah.
line is this: the people that with the connections and the high level so-called Negroes, so-called black elite, as they call themselves and whatnot, they don't want it. You know what I'm saying? They're comfortable in America. They're comfortable in America, and the whole thing is because they're comfortable in America and everything, they don't want us thinking outside the box because that goes away to what this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
I bet you
Think
we can
about this.
convince them, though, Kala.
Oh yeah, we can
I
convince them,
bet you
but
if me and you had a conversation with any of these rich niggas, by the end of the conversation, they'd be running to Africa.
okay, they would, but they want the whole. This is how I see a lot of them. A lot of them think they're like they basically made their money being the go between white people and black people. Now,
Hmm.
if you have somebody who's like a nationalist minded, who got an all black organization, all black stuff like that, this and the other thing, that's it. Now, somebody like let's say what's that guy that owns a lot of television stuff like that, Byron
Byron
Allen.
Allen.
I believe somebody like him would
Yo,
be involved.
yes, Byron Allen. We can talk to Byron Allen. I trust me on that.
Yeah, and
Trust me
I
on
don't
that.
give a dang about who he dates or he marries and whatnot. I don't give a damn if he
Byron
married to
Allen,
a
Byron Allen is for real.
yeah. He's about
That
black.
dude is for real.
He's about black empowerment. Black power. He owns.
Hmm.
You can talk all the day, all you want. If somebody's about black ownership and stuff like that, about being ownership and stuff like that, I can deal with him.
Yep.
I don't give a damn who's he
Any
married to,
day of the
you know?
week.
I don't give a damn who is he married to, you know? The bottom line is that's what I look
Pay
at.
attention. See, what people got to do is stop looking at the surface and pay attention to the moves that people make. Because Byron Allen has been on the under the radar, just becoming powerful in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Under the radar, no big fanfare, none of that stuff. You ain't really. A lot of people ain't really even hear about him until his latest purchase of the Weather Channel.
Yeah, and check this out. You know what gets me is this, like, what's funny you said that. I said, you know, every time, one thing I don't want ever is I don't want nobody giving me no damn award. You
No,
know,
no, no, no,
anytime
no.
somebody gives you an award, that means they're flattering you and they're trying to mislead you into something else. You
Just
know,
putting a target on you.
you know.
Remember
Bottom
that
line,
remember that movie with Denzel where he was playing Frank Lucas?
yeah, yep.
And his problem started when he put that damn fur coat on.
Yeah, the chinchilla. You know,
That's when the
and he said,
problem
"Oh,
started.
he said, you got a chinchilla, man. What the hell?" You drew attention to yourself. You know, and that's the problem. So the whole thing is, the main thing is this. The bottom line is this: you build a state and everything like that, and you give people a vision. One thing we got to do is this: we have to get a CAD that CAD engineering software, and we can start doing our own sketch model cities and stuff like that to give people a
Well,
visualization of what we're
actually, I
talking
think
about.
we have some architectural engineers in the group.
We do. We just got with that. The software costs money. You know,
Yeah.
if we get,
I
we
mean, they
got
probably already have it.
we have to get with them and say like this because I got the territory. Now that I got the particular land that they're talking about and everything, the region,
Hmm.
everything, we can say, okay, you know, what can we do? What can we do to design? Okay, this, that, and the other thing. You
And
know.
this is where the think tanks come in because I would love, like a person like a Neil deGrasse Tyson. If
Hmm.
I were to go to Neil deGrasse Tyson and just pick his brain and say, if you could build a society or a nation from scratch, how would you do it? Just to ask him the question. That
Hmm.
dude would be all over that. This dude loves that type of stuff.
And then that's what we need. That's what the bottom line. That's what we need. We need people that think on that level. That say, well, what the whole thing is this. Okay, we're saying that we're ready to expand and build on the African continent. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? We're ready to expand and build on the African continent. You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line, this is going to be something for the future generations and everything like that. Are you giving up
Oh,
on America? America's giving up on us.
I'm
You
done
know?
talking. Says he has SolidWorks and AutoCAD. I don't know what that means, but is that
Tell them to join the Ning site. Tell them to join the Ning site. You know, and let's see what he
I'm
talks
done
about.
talking. Have you joined? Are you have you signed up with the BAIO?
Join the Ning site.
Oh, okay. He said, Jonathan says I have ATC GIS for mapping. AutoCAD will give you a 3D design for individual buildings.
All right, great. You know, map out cities and so they make sketch cities.
Okay, he
I was
said,
on.
yeah, he's in the group. He's in the
I
group.
was okay. Well, we need to like we form a group. Form a group, a separate group for AutoCAD.
Actually, don't we have that? We have a group in there. Let me
We have
see.
a land development agency. The land development agency. The land development agency. That's a group. You know, let's go in that group and let's start making sketch designs of cities and everything. Let's give people a visualization of what we're talking about.
Where's it at? Oh, okay, yeah. Land
The
Development Agency.
land development agency. So, and I put a blog up there. It has its own blog too. That
Let me
means
see
you
if
can
I
put,
can post that in the group.
say you make your own, make a blog up, and you put the video up on the thing. You post it on Facebook, whatever like that. If you don't want to put it on Facebook public yet, you can send it around to us and everything.
I
And
just
so with
put
a
the
bot,
link in the group, y'all. So click on the link and let me know if y'all are getting to it from that link that I just provided. But yeah, that's the group right there. And go through the groups anyway, because we got groups that cover just about every goddamn thing, man.
everything to do with nation building,
Everything. We got the STEM
everything.
group. We got my group in there. We got Team Africa. We got food and agriculture. We got arts
Hmm.
and culture. We got military defense and intelligence. We got finance and economics. We got atheists and agnostics. We
Hmm.
got health and wellness. We got Institute for Higher Learning, this Department of State. We got all kinds of groups in here, man.
I think that many think tanks, and that's what it is, man. So bottom line is this: I would like for people to have groups and everything to get together on their own and have their own like conference calls and
Right.
stuff like that. Take initiative. Don't wait for
We
Holip
don't
and
need us.
Collar. Don't wait for
Don't
Holip and
need
Collar.
Holip. Don't need Collar.
You know what I'm saying? You don't need me. Definitely don't need me. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is just do what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? To contribute, give it a visualization. You know what I'm saying? And see what you come up with.
Yeah.
So
But
that's
anyway,
what.
Collar, I'm gonna shut this down because I'm gonna get me something to eat. I'm hungry right now.
So too. I might have to go out there. I got nothing in the
But
house.
yo,
Shit.
thank you, man. Thank you for
No,
being
no
on this.
problem.
This is my first
Man.
one. So I finally think I got this. I think
No
this will
problem.
be fairly easy to do. So we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna try to do some more live.
If you want to do one Wednesday night or tomorrow night, I'm off, but I'm gonna be tired tomorrow night. I gotta go
Yeah.
out of town tomorrow with business. By the
All
time I
right.
get home, I'll be too tired. But Wednesday night, if you want to do another one Wednesday night, it'd be great.
That'd be cool.
All right, brother Holip, Jonathan, everybody else out there, y'all take care.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.